I'm saying first a lot. They are the first MENA team to make it to an R6 main stage, but they did not come here just to take part. Looking to trailblaze into the semi-finals, it's Geekay! All right, standing by with Noodle here from Team Geekay. Noodle, you are part of a history-making team, making history for the MENA region. Just standing here in front of the bright lights, in front of this amazing crowd, how does that feel to start with?
It's a surreal feeling, like it's a lifelong dream for everyone here, so very, very happy to be here.
All right, you are going up against the world's, well, the most recent major champions in W7m. You have beaten them already, not that long ago. Do you feel like you've got their card in a best-of-3 situation here?
We've done it before, why can't we do it again?
All right, I love that confidence. I love that confidence. Anything you want to say to your amazing fans back home? Right down this camera.
Thanks a lot for supporting us, and we're going to put on a very good show for you guys.
All right, best of luck. Go and take your seat with the rest of your team. Their opponents, of course, the Brazilians who conquered Copenhagen. Can they find that magic once again here in America? It's W7m! Philippox, we are getting quite used to standing together doing interviews on a big stage. This is something that you are very used to. Do you think being the most recent major winners gives you an advantage here, having that experience?
Yeah, I think we have that confidence of being the last major winners, but we can't underestimate them. We lost to them in the group stage. So yeah, now it's a BO3, we are getting them.
You mentioned it yourself there. You're not concerned a little bit, because you obviously, W7m, you don't ever underestimate your opponents. But I think these guys have surprised a lot of people making it here.
Yeah, they play a very different Siege, and they are playing really good Siege, and they surprise a lot of teams. They are here for a reason, like they are playing really good, and we can't underestimate them, like I said.
Are you feeling confident that you're going to become back-to-back major champions here in Atlanta?
Yeah, we are very confident we can do that. We can make history.
All right, well, you've got a strong start here at the quarterfinal. Go and take your seat with the rest of your team. Best of luck to Philippox. Best of luck to both of our first quarterfinalists here. We are starting proceedings in such a strong way for lots of different reasons. One of them being on the cast is Parker and Pengu.
Well, thank you so very much. The word history has been used an awful lot today, but I think for very good reason. A young region coming into Copenhagen, showing off, but ultimately falling just short. But now, they have an opportunity to stun the world by knocking out the defending, reigning champions of W7m. I'm going to poll the crowd, so forgive me if you don't get to talk yet. I want to gauge your temperature. How many of you are cheering for W7m? All right, there's some.
Okay, there's some.
There's some. A lot of the Brazilian teams thought that the NA crowd would be against them. What about GK?
I was going to say, it's
I'm
early.
no soundologist, but I think we've got our answer.
Yeah, I mean, it's early this morning, but it's never too early for an underdog story, and that's what GK are doing here. They are the underdog, and so far they've done an incredible job at getting to the quarterfinals.
Honestly, stunning teams every single step along the way, and talking to these teams off screen. Some of them will maybe sheepishly admit that they underestimated this MENA squad, or MENA, depending on how you like to pronounce it, of Geekay. And I mean, you underestimate them at your peril. There have been a trail of bodies left in the wake of Geekay so far, and all of them upon exiting the tourney have said, well, we should have maybe tried a little.
Yeah, well, that's the thing when you come into this, you know, they're not just a team from the MENA region that hasn't been here before, but also, at the quarterfinals at least, but also they got a standing player of leader. So they're only with a 4-man roster, new IGL calling the shots. No one can predict how they're going to be playing, and catching your opponents by surprise, one of the best ways to take those best of ones.
Yeah, I mean, I as a commentator, I'm not surprised all that often. You as a commentator now, but as a former player, probably relatively immune to surprises as well. And yet, in stark contrast to the Copenhagen Major, earlier this year, this entire event has been littered with surprises, the biggest, of course, being the rise of this Geekay squad. Now, unless they go all the way to the end, this Cinderella story will eventually, well, it will finish.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we have, outside of the 4 traditional regions, a new representative on the stage, and that is something to be proud of either way.
No, it does, and it matters so much. And for people who don't know Geekay that well, they've been pretty much second or first in the domestic region, usually up against Falcons. We saw Falcons in Copenhagen, they made it there, but this is these guys' first time, and they're shy. They're not used to all this, all the people, all the crowd, the cameras, and that might affect them. But they got a best of 3 to settle into it, take that first map and feel like, okay, what's the vibes gonna be like, and take it from there.
I mean, you can speak from experience. The first time that you played in front of a crowd, in front of a live audience,
yeah.
How much does that affect your mental game, Nick?
I was more worried about how my hair was looking back when I had it for the camera. So when it panned by, I was like, do I look okay? That's not the focus
Were you
here.
worried about it today?
I'm not. No, it's going. No, it's disappearing pretty quickly these days.
That's
but
a shame.
It's about the game at hand here. Look at the screen, get in the server, reach that state where nothing else matters. You won't even notice those cameras.
55% of you think W7m, 45 for Geekay. Are we ready? Ladies and gentlemen, friends and foes, it's time for our first map. Geekay W7m on Bank.
Oh boy. In case you guys, were thinking, why should we care about this game? It's a major winning team in W7m against a team that you might not know in Geekay. Well, Geekay to get here, they beat NIP. They beat BDS. They went toe-to-toe with G2 and LOS1, losing, but 5-7 close games. In the first day of the second phase, up against W7m, and they beat them on Clubhouse, which is the second map here. Yeah, this time mistakes are higher. They're playing for a spot in the semifinals, not just playing in the Swiss format bracket. And of course, the format's different too. A best of 3 instead of best of 1. But it's crazy to think that it's W7m in this matchup looking for revenge.
Operator bands now rolling in. One hard breach removed from Bank, awaiting the final defender, banned out by W7m. And it's a soulless ban to go along with the Kaid on defense. Ying, among the highest ban rate of any operator, is no surprise, especially on this map. Why is Ying a great ban on Bank, Nick?
I mean, what can Ying do? You get 4 Candelas, 2 smoke grenades, and more importantly than Bank, you get that secondary hard breach can opener for the basement hatches. And it's one of those operators that, yeah, it takes skill to play the Ying, but because you have so much utility, just toss it on out. You don't have to worry about getting that min-max value every single Candela round, and it's why most teams will play her if she isn't banned. But more often than not, she does find herself to be unplayable because she gets targeted out by the majority of the teams at this event.
I mean, we've seen teams pull off successful attacks on that basement bomb site without a bona fide hard breach on the board. Bring a Buck, bring a Ying, bring anybody with those secondary hard breach gadgets, and now you have opportunities to take care of the hatches and begin your assault down below on that locker CCTV bomb site. Now, obviously, that's theory crafting for a part of the map, which we're not going to go to right off of the hop. Very first bomb site defended by W7m will be open area. For those of you that are unfamiliar with Bank as a map, it tends to be among the largest in the map pool, and all 4 bomb sites do tend to see play, even if Teller's Archive's pick rate is quite low in comparison to the Bank of whole.
Yeah, most certainly is. And a team like W7m, they are known to have a very deep strategical pool. They can play most, if not all, bomb sites in the game at the professional level in the 9-map pool. And they're going to start in a, I would say, a slightly different location. Typically, teams will start in the basement of all places, but going open air allows W7m to use the map more. Roam top floor, roam basement, and apply pressure early by shutting down Geekay's entries. And the Desk broke it down. Geekay, when they can get in the building and get successful entries, that's when they're the strongest. So a clear target threat here from W7m to start things off.
Yeah, I love the IQ pick. 3 black eye cams to spot. You're going to have the pulse as well, who, as long as you stay on that IQ scanner, you can see the pulse every single time he pulls out his cardiac sensor. The Mozzie pests, as well as the proximity alarms that have been thrown out by Herds' Oryx. Noodle can stay alive long enough. He can do some serious work to aid the rest of his team, find out where the gadgets are for this W7m squad.
But see, they're getting locked out so quickly. Impact goes out, applying pressure to Noodle. Leader's outside the building as well. He has found himself to be inside of that bottom server staircase, but they don't have any foothold yet.
Oh, Key atop of blue with 1 kill, but traded back as 2 guns from W7m find their targets. KZ will scramble upstairs as the logic bomb goes off. He'll drop the hatch, but a missed opportunity from Geekay to equalize. Now KZ softened up as a nitro cell goes out. Noodle taken down by Fellapox. Gun in hand. Numbers now favoring W7m as they double up on the Saudi Arabian team. Trixton Leader, last 2 remaining. Leader inching into the bomb site, swatted away by JV92. Every single remaining member of W7m on the board. No team ace to be had, as Nade won't get a kill as he died earlier. Herds engaging upstairs. Dies to Trix. Still fighting. Nitro Cell goes out. Missing an opportunity, but Trix with a nice rodeo on stop trading window. Gets the pick with 45 seconds left.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a close one. It looked like it was a done deal, but all of a sudden they might have a way back with 40 seconds to go, but Trix so low in HP, and you see W7m, they got that crossfire on the hatch.
Fellapox finishes the job. Trix in a 1v4 that, well, it might have been winnable, but you have to go up against multiple angry members of W7m. That's a tall task to be had. The defense starts off successfully.
Angry members, huh? I mean, when you're in the best of 3, when you're playing on stage, I think the best place to be in, no matter who you are, no matter how good, how experienced your roster is, starting on defense is always going to be favored, no matter what map it is. Because you simply get to set up your default strategies and just set things up, wait for the enemy to come to you, and you feel comfortable. You can tell how hard Geekay had there in getting inside the building and set up the crossfires and picking things apart. And a team like W7m, they have so many layers to their defense. They got the crossfires. Key gets the opening kill, walks in, immediately gets shot down. Walk in lobby, Hurts upstairs. There's always, you're fighting the horizontal angle and the vertical angle. C4 is going out. I mean, you're always under pressure.
Well, an effort by Trix, but I mean, you've got so much information at hand by the defenders that you're just...
10 seconds remaining.
So that was a little loud. Open area ultimately successful by W7m, and immediately they will go downstairs to Locker's CCTV. The tertiary bomb site. Of course, if W7m wins, I don't want to get ahead of myself too much, will be either that fabled Teller's Archives mid-floor bomb site or upstairs to CEO. W7m bringing lots of plant denial. They've got a Warden who, if positioned well, will be playing far back, dealing with any smokes or flashes that are thrown out. As you can see on the side of Geekay, no smokes to be had now. But you've got the Vulcans from Herds that are great at denying a push through that CCTV door. You've got smokes as well, and then you've got those dread mines from Fenrir.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of trap operators and lots of plant denial from W7m will slow Geekay down if they're not quick to organize and execute.
It's not just about the plant denial itself, but of course getting the right guns for the job. Yeah, you can toss out C4s, but when it comes down to it, GK, they're going to look for a fight. If you got UMPs at hand, not going to be that great for you on defense. So instead, high rate of fire here from almost every single defender, or a zoom scope to support as well. And while there is no real roam here from W7m, it's a very, very slow roam clear from GK. They're still kind of figuring things out, going through this first phase of droning the top floor, rotating Key with the Hibana to open up all the hatches, and start their second phase this round to kind of explore what does the bomb site actually look like.
Yeah, I really like how efficient GK's entry's been so far, assessing map control accurately, getting the hard breach into the position that they need, and starting work on those hatches. Ying might be banned, but GK are bringing no shortage of flashbangs. 9 flashbangs on the board for GK, and there's no operators that can deny that. No Jaeger, no ADSs from him, no magnets from the Lamai, no Aruni. So in this case, Bellapox is going to be the intended target for most of those flashbangs. You can hear them all get tossed out. Oh my, KZ looking away as the fire goes, the flash as well. Key first to die to KZ on this blue position. Noodle will need to swing in for assistance.
What?
Trix dies to the fire that was created by Hasham. And now KZ lined up for yet another Noodle. Too slow. Gets the pick, but ultimately just so far behind at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the round can be won or lost on the server staircase. In this particular case, statistically, that's a round victory for W7m just because Casey can get 2/3 kills in that particular position. And now with only 1 member covering, one has to plant, and there's still 2 C4s. There are still those fires being popped. It's not looking good.
Popped with 26 seconds to go, which means you have a 6-second window. Once that fire stops raging, they can feel it. They're so close. EE1D goes out, timer continuing to run away, and now Leader will stick the plant safety. There's a nitro cell, no coverage from Noodle. A hopeless position, Bellapox and Herd. The final 2 picks. W7m so far 2 for 2 on their defenses.
It's again the layers, the extension, the lockdown, and they're not just playing for Casey to get kills. They're playing to stall for time and always applying pressure in different ways. Yeah, if they kill a couple of the attackers, Geekay are not going to be able to execute the way they want to. But also, if the time gets low enough, we saw those Vulcan canisters from the Goyo, you got 6 seconds to work with. That's just not enough time. The desk was praising GK and how well they were at adapting on the fly. The thing about Bank, though, is that it's a very set map. You don't have to make a lot of adaptations. It's about, okay, you gotta, in that attack, for example, you get server. Are you successful? Yes, no. Well, if this happens, the round's basically over. You don't have all the people alive, the gadgets, the weapons that you want, so you just lose in most scenarios. And the adaptation here is what? Go garage, run into the bomb site, and just die anyway? So it comes down to clean, precise, repetitive executes. And for GK right now, that's not where they thrive.
No, I mean, you've got some early shakes from a team that typically came out of the gate swinging. But that's to be expected when you were playing in front of a live audience and crowd for the first time
5 seconds to
in your career. And I mean, they technically played in front of a live audience before, but not in an international stage like this. So there's a lot of weight on your shoulders. The weight of a region, the weight of all the fans, not just abroad, but as you heard from the cheers here in Atlanta as well. Oh my.
Early death.
Bellapox on the jump out.
What?
Ended by Key, but taking down Noodle. That's a big first pick for W7m.
I actually like this, because when you play the Oryx, typically you don't really have any specific role in the round. So just jumping out a window, trading 1-for-1. I mean, look at the attacking lineup. Twitch, Finger, Capital, Sledge, Hibana. It doesn't matter who you trade 1-for-1 with. You're an Oryx. You don't have any utility. It's always going to be worth your time and worth your effort. And now, half the grenades are gone. Noodle, who's a fantastic interplayer for the team, is gone. And they don't have that early manpower to say, okay, let's take this part of the map. So now you're playing with less bodies, which on attack you really don't want to deal with.
See, Trix was checking the archways above. Information has been so helpful for W7m. We know the lineup is absent a Valkyrie, but as long as she's available on a map like Bank, you have to wonder if there are any of those black eye cams strewn about, watching you when you are not necessarily in the know.
Activating drone.
I'm looking at top-down view right now, just looking at the defense. You see the outlines here as well? Nobody's moving from W7m. They know they can't get grenades from below. Nobody's really inside the building. The pulse is roaming. He's got this confrontation and stays alive for now.
This is a battle to the death. KZ, though, dropping Hasham. No kills so far for a player who we expect to perform better than that.
Yep, and it's Hasham always lurking below, like he just did in that round, but usually comes out on top. The red pings are kind of coming through now for the attack inside, but they have no nades left. So all that downstairs presence, that downstairs control, it doesn't really matter anymore. So GK's entire first round attacking strategy, or first half rather, is completely in the dumpster now.
These smokes from Key's Capitao will go somewhere towards the back of the bomb site, maybe to cut off the hallway or even towards paper or janitor, depending on what you call it.
True.
Regional callouts differ. Key's gonna gamble his life on a very long-range engagement, but is worried about somebody over towards stock. I don't think he's wrong to expect that. He loads up one of the smoke bolts. Now sitting at top square. Again, good patience from W7m. Nobody really moving, but the mirror gets spotted. Hurts a bit of sloppiness as he exposes his back to Key, answered back from inside a conference by JV92, who now couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. Having some struggles, but winning right now on time. Trick falls, and then an immediate play, huge by JV92. Silencing. Silencing GK W7m up 3-0.
I think you're GK right now, and this is hard to do as an in-game leader for leader. That's a fun one. In-game leader for leader. Okay, first of all, yeah, call a tactical timeout, and this is not about strategy necessarily. It's about calming the nerves, being guys, we got this. We play as we did in phase 1 and phase 2. Play like we do at home. Play like we do domestically. Don't worry about where we are, what's going on, and the things that are at stake. And more importantly, I think strategically for GK, if they can settle their nerves, try and go for a fast execute. In the very first round, they were hovering blitz for a long time, but they went off it, playing this very rigid, slow pace instead. I want to see the Doki rely on the blitz. I want to see them go fast with confidence. And even if they lose the round, at least they assert some presence, because right now on the server, they haven't really done that yet. So W7m, they don't gotta respect their opponent, because right now there's not much to respect, if you will.
Not really the start that you want on your own map as well. I mean, it's not always easy to hear what the crowd is saying. This was that early first pick, by the way, just in case you were curious. Again, a very good gamble by fellow Fox. You commended it. I think it's absolutely correct. Routine stuff from JV92. W7m is a terrifyingly good team when they are on their game.
Yeah.
And so far through these 3 rounds, certainly appears to be the case.
I love that.
Always nice to be graced by the presence of the Lord. Don't say that too loud in the South. They worship a different Lord down.
It's gonna say not our
10
Lord.
seconds remaining.
I mean, it's a shame that Bleed didn't make it because they had some Tashanga strats on Consulate,
5
you know?
seconds remaining.
Joel, the fish, would have been nice stuff around here as well, but I did see we had
Attackers are
the
moving to defuse the
family
bomb.
members of Joel in the crowd. Saw a fish or two earlier on one of those. Yep, there it is. I see it. So the presence is still there. Another attack, not a fast one for GK. So they did talk things through, but they didn't change around how they're going to go about this. The one stable, the one constant right now is that Noodle will flex from Sledge to IQ, depending on what defending offers being brought out. When the Valkyrie / Echo are seen in play, he goes on the IQ. And that's a great thing to do strategically, but it's going to slow down the attack and forces now because Noodle typically is an entry player. So you're kind of sacrificing your speed, but in a way for accuracy strategically. You're gonna shut down that intel and make things harder for the defending side, but you still need to find those kills as well to follow up with things. You can kill all the cameras, that's sure. There are 5 members in the server that also has to get shut down at some point in this round.
It's still very early in this best of 3 and very early in this match, so you don't want to read too much into it, but I think one of the win conditions for GK to be agreed upon by the analysts is a quick start. You want to knock W7m off their game. If you let W7m settle in on your map, that's a bit of a problem. Fellafox's Nitro Cell takes out Hasham. Hasham is having a very disappointing start to this best of 3. 0 and 4, and usually playing on rolls where you want to get at least a kill or 2 as often as possible in a round, especially when you're running the Finka. Grenades, again, going out without any real effectiveness, and again, the adrenal surges as well. So any chip damage done to GK will not be healed back up. Fellafox looking for kill number 6. Needle gets baited in by JV92. Here comes the fire from GK, but it's W7m again. JV92 on an absolute tear. Leader breaks the donut, first pick on the board, but KZ and Fellafox get the last 2. The timeout does nothing and to no avail. Does the breather help?
I mean,
4-0 for W7m.
the crossfires there are ridiculous. There's just no way in for GK, and I really respect the fact that they went from the same side of the building this time. So, okay, they have 4 people defending open area. We're gonna take 4 people bottom square and fight that portion of the map with Hasham going elsewhere. But Hasham dies early, so Fellafox, he rotates back towards that bottom square half of the map, and now it's 5 versus 4 instead. the devs kind of said that, oh, GK, they like playing spread out, you know, far apart, attack from many different angles. Right now, they are not really typically doing that. And it might be because, again, the nerves are settling in, and they're not really keeping their drones alive, don't have that much intel to work with, so now they're trying to go more together. But Bang's a big map. Your benefit on attack is to come from multiple directions. And like, they open up the wall, JV patches up a portion of it, when he swings the breach, gets the first kill, again here, the cover is always there for W7m.
They knew where they were at all times. I mean, you're doing this without your classic intel operators on some of these bomb sites. Now, W7m, just to give themselves a bit of a leg up when it comes to information, will again run this Valkyrie-heavy lineup. It's the same lineup that we saw from them last time, except the big difference is no mirror window. Instead, Mira off the board, Valkyrie comes in, the other 4 operators all exactly the same. And given the fact that I don't think W7m really broke much of a sweat the first time around, curious as to how this change will work. Information did not seem to be a significant issue the last time that W7m defended this bottom floor bomb site.
But this time they're gonna roam. They're gonna hold on to open area with their lives, and again, their strat book is so deep. And look at this, player inside of elevator hiding, swinging double doors one, they just get the kill outright. Has shown in the grave again, 0-5. And again, now the flank, the pinch is gone. All 4 attackers from the same side of the building now, pretty much have no easy way into open area. They gotta brute force it, or hope that W7m are gonna fall back, but they never do. They understand they can stick around for longer.
I mean, if you go back to the previous attempt on this bomb site, GK were so fast to drone things out and assess map control, and then take it. But W7m was playing a turtle strat down in the basement. They're not doing that any longer. Leader, here's one off of the logic bomb now. It's nade tucked into the elevator, waiting for the drone to come out. Another logic bomb will be used. JV92 not too far off.
Triple crossfire.
Here's the swing up from Leader, but he loses the gunfight. You just can't have that happen. GK has the wherewithal. They know where these players at W7m are, and they are just failing at every single fight. Trixton Key last 2 alive. GK get on the board this round by eliminating Philippox. Half the round to go, and it's all up to Key as Trix dies to Herds. More of a battle with the door than with any of his opponents as Herds gets that final pick. W7m are just steamrolling right now. They're up 5-0.
So, I've been saying this event, and I still stand by it, that the meta historically in Siege has been about who can figure out how to break the game the quickest in pro play, what operators are strong, what setups are good, etc. And that kind of team who breaks the meta first will be your champions typically. But the way that the meta has gone the last 2.5 years or so is not really about breaking the game. It stayed mostly the same as a meta game. The maps have been the same in pro play mostly as well. It's about improving at the fundamentals of Siege. Being 1% better in a couple of areas sets you apart. In the previous round that we just witnessed, W7m had a triple crossfire on the main stairs to support their lurker inside the elevator. That is world class from W7m. Meanwhile, GK, they have full map control of the top floor, but they don't actually open up any of the self-destruction to open areas to deny that crossfire from the defenders. So this is what happens when a team that's playing at like 95% skill level meets the 80, 75% skill level. It's only a couple percentages, but it goes a long way because the counterplay is not there, the read is not there from GK. So W7m, they look like they are unstoppable in these rounds, but there are some weaknesses that can be exploited, but they're not being found.
Attacker's objective is to
The 2 new operators now showing up. Ash being played for the first time by Noodle. Leader rocking with the Flores for the first time, and my eyes deceiving me. We've not seen them
Well, you're right.
so far. Even when staring down the barrel, as GK currently are.
I'm reloading.
Staying fluid, changing things up, trying to catch W7m off guard is about as much as you can hope for at this point. But strategy isn't really the issue here. Operators aren't really the issue. It's, again, going back to that previous round and other rounds as well. It's GK knowing where they are, taking the duels, losing the duels.
Yeah, it's almost like they're playing it too simple, right? Bad guy over here, I'm gonna walk up and take the gunfight, or I'm dead. And there's the thing about the current game of Siege. You need to be strategically smart, but so precise and sure with your gunfights as well. And right now, it's been W7m just winning those individuals every single time. It's why I show him 0-5 in the finger still. He hasn't won a gunfight yet. And when W7m don't fall to a grenade, they don't like swing a window and die themselves. They sit right back, and again, time is just ticking down.
Impact out.
Philippox gets all but one of the x.ke, so a small window opens up. But the W7m playing in this relatively common spot. Could do some serious work from it and can return fire as well. 2 silhouettes, not too far off from Bellapox. Maybe a bit of hubris as now he goes for the engagement, losing out on some of the wall. Flashbangs go in, no immediate follow-up. GK cannot get bogged down on this position. Bellapox hoping to control recoil. KZ drops suddenly. GK with the advantage. They need something to show that they're still in this match, and they've got it.
Yep.
They gotta keep going.
They're in the building. They got a small foothold on top square and stock room as well. Got a minute to go. No Val cams. 1C4 from JV, who's not below right now, but Hertz is looking for the swing and looking for the play.
Oh, he could possibly catch Tricks from the back, and here's the swing out. And a drop. Another was as well over in the same area. JV92 will likely lose this fight. Never mind. A bit of a puzzling interaction as JV92 searches for his 10th kill.
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
GK falling by the wayside. Nade on the board now. Hashom without a kill. GK without a round. And they're about to run into Hearts.
That's tough.
And it's GK without a hope. Map point for W7m as they go flawless on the first half.
If Hashom is last alive, usually it's a flawless round for GK. It never happens when they're losing the way they are in these rounds. And it goes to show that he's not comfortable right now, not getting things done. And JV, nobody right now on the server can match him. Oh.
You can't see the chat, but Herds typed easy half.
Bit of mental warfare.
Why are you booing him? He's right.
Gotta be honest. I mean, look at this initial engagement. Noodle drops, the follow-up is there, they clear out stock too, but then these small things fall apart. No one's covering the generator door. No one's locking down JV92. Then we see this. Ooh.
A lot of nerves, I imagine. You're a younger player, right? You don't really play international Rainbow Six Siege. You come out here, you're in front of thousands of people in the crowd.
Yeah.
You're the crowd favorite, but I mean so far, and I don't mean this in a disparaging way, GK have not given the crowd much to cheer for at this point. It's really hard to get that fabled crowd buff, as people will call it, if you're not doing stuff that they'll cheer for. And Key is now dead as well. Herds asserts himself through electrical. W7m 4 kills away from a 7-0, but hold on a second, there's some life. As Noodle punishes Herds from that same spot, Noodle still roaming upstairs.
Fighting is sticking around, they can hear the crowd perhaps praising their name, but look at this, Philippox with a possible gap and angle being found in the basement of Garage.
This is such an old strategy.
But it might work.
Old and tired, but sometimes can show signs of brilliance. Uh-oh.
He gets the kill, that's the bomb site control. The issue here is Philippox has no intel, but they got the yellow ping. The Valcam was in Garage.
Nook isn't the operator she used to be, but if you've got the cloaking device on, you're still invisible, even though they can hear you. JV92 will equalize things now as 1 minute is off of the clock. Hashom, 0-7. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the only time that we have seen a map end with a player failing to drop a kill was when Key did that on what was called the pacifist run, where GK won the map, but Key went 0-8 this time.
Yeah.
W7m prevails and takes bank with a perfect 7-0. Hashom will also join his teammate without dropping a single kill. You best hope that the other 3 players from GK are able to pick up some of the slack as we're just halfway through this potential final round.
This next gunfight is so important. It's gonna put one team in a massive advantage in that 3 versus 2. It's very hard to win for that position, and W7m, because of this, they've slowed things down. No one's taking those gambles and taking those risks. There's one gray area for the attackers right now. They don't know if open area is clear. Noodle shoots some shots there, drops down the head, so we know that he's now off that position. It's gonna force the rest of the defenders back to the bomb site and play out this round in a 3v3.
EMP goes down as JV92 with double digits. We'll wait for that hard destruction to go. Nade missing an opportunity on the stairs, re-engaging with the sidearm out. Trickst is gone, so is JV92 amidst the smoke. KZ charging on in. Nade taking some damage. KZ will need to clutch out. Missing his opportunity. It will not be a perfect first map as GK picks up their first round on their first defense.
And they need that so badly, because now they don't go down 0-7, so when they go to map number 2, no matter what the result's gonna be here, they've gotten that round. They've had some success. You might be wondering how much can a player hear when you're sitting in that arena behind those monitors. Well, you can't hear very precise words. Like if I said, hello, GK, they wouldn't be able to hear that, but you hear like the muffled like, in the background. When the entire crowd comes together and say, let's go, GK, you can tell what's happening there. You can tell that it's not W7m. They can hear that you're cheering for them.
It's the bass, right? Like you can hear the bass, you can feel the bass.
The tempo of the words, right?
Attackers bomb diffuser has been dropped.
Well, leader, huge in that round. 3 kills, all immensely impactful to propel GK to their first round victory. The only way out of this map in a positive direction for GK involves them winning 6 rounds of their own on defense. 2 perfect halves, and then winning in overtime.
Yeah.
Which would be an unbelievable feat for a team as young and inexperienced as we say out of GK. Looked like it might have been a quick push towards Printer as W7m opened up some of that wall. Izami of Key now engaging with Herds. Bravery there to go toe-to-toe with Herds.
I was gonna say I like that. Keeping up the pressure despite being down in round score. Still saying, you know what? The rounds might be free, but the individual gunfights are not going to be. And now W7m, they gotta rotate around, find map controls where, but they're a very conventional team. Top down on bank, right? You clear top floor, use self-destruction, got the bug, got the ash, with second self-destruction as well. Break the floor apart, then hit the bomb set itself afterwards. A classic round, and GK have no top floor roamers, besides Noodle's gonna quickly fall back towards that primary floor downstairs.
Old map control, fall off, make W7m waste more time on the follow-up. Herds originally wanted that engagement over by open area, but now instead will join his cohorts on the top floor. He and KZ not too far removed, slowly stripping away some of the portions of this map and getting a read on the mirror down below of Trixt, but for now, GK evading the clutches of W7m. Logic bombs go off to help W7m on this entry. So much of this map has been cracked open, but GK not showing up at all on the radar of W7m, not till JV92 is out-dueled by leader. Trick's still roaming now over by Tellers. Wasting time. Nitro Cell goes out, and the shotgun is brought to the doorstep of Felipox. 5v3 with GK holding on for another minute.
They're fighting back. I love this from GK. And now they know they got the advantage. Now they sit tight. They're forcing again. Time's an issue. Utility's an issue. And now they know what the whereabouts are of 2 members of W7m. They can establish those crossfires, fall back, or stick around if they have to.
KZ inching up. Noodle, another freebie! Defender-sided map, it sure looks. A flawless first half, answered by a flawless round of GK. The crowd loves it. 2 in a row for the defenders.
Just like that, huh? A flawless round. Looking for plays, making them, and establishing those crossfires. The fundamentals of a good team showcased by GK. The scrappy attack, outright messy, chaotic attack. But 2 for 2 so far in the side half. Thing is, when you start winning these bomb sites, you gotta go to a statistically weaker and weaker scenario. You go basement, great. You go open area, great. You go to CEO, you go Archives Tellers. All of a sudden, the numbers statistically 50-50 at best. You really gotta show up now more than ever.
Commanding round by GK. Suddenly, that 6-0 looks a little bit smaller in the rearview mirror. No timeout for GK, though. Keep in mind, they used it
yeah.
the tail end of that 3rd round.
5 seconds left.
So they're doing all of this without any ability to stop and speak to their coach.
Attackers are heading out to defuse the bomb.
If W7m finds themselves in a precarious position, they can use their timeout, at which point GK will be able to speak to their coach and settle things down, but I don't think we're really at that point just yet.
No. But they're gonna hold on to like a 6-4 scenario, I reckon. Draw it out all the way. Because ideally you don't want to call it ever. And the thing is, W7m, they've only been around for about 2 years now, but they've made top 4 in like every single event they attended in the last year and a half. When I say top 4, it's either grand finals, winning events, or of course, 3rd/4th place. It's an incredible run so far.
Second place at the 6 Invitational to start the year, and of course, the amount of times you've heard them referred to as the Kings of Copenhagen will let you know that they won that major, looking to be back-to-back defending champions. But GK has something to say about it. First kill for Hasham!
That's gotta feel good. Now it's a 5v5. Oh, second as well. Straight to the montage.
One tap.
Yep, it's beautiful. That's more like the player that Hasham is. Glad the crowd gets to see it because he's been fired up in the first and second phase of this major.
Cannot allow the shakes to start hitting you if you're W7m. Again, teams underestimate GK at their own peril. W7m came off so strong, winning those 6 rounds in a row. They cannot afford to take their foot off of that accelerator. But so far, not a single round has been won by the attackers. A daunting task for either team, but right now, it's incumbent upon W7m to show that they are the team that can break that streak. Maybe not this round, though. It's just Felipox and JV92. GK just finished with a flawless round. They won't get it this time as Key dies. JV92 reduced to a shadow of himself. What is that Kiba placement?
All right, calm down, Hasham.
Completely cordoning off that portion of the map. Goodbye, Felipox. JV92 over towards Paper. Cycling around, and it's Hasham.
Okay.
It was his round. We were just living in it. GK have now stitched 3 rounds in a row, completing the cycle on defense.
It's not just about the fact that GK won that round. It's about how they went about it. They were not sitting back and W7m were making mistakes.
You were wrong, by the way.
I was so wrong. And you know why? Because they've been so dominant the previous 2 rounds.
Timeout called by W7m.
You know you got him when you do that.
Think they can hear that?
Yeah, I do think so, yeah. And I gotta say, I love the energy here. It's early. Wait. Oh, yeah. It's Hasham's world, and you said it. We are just living in it. And that's the thing, it's how GK have gone about winning these rounds, running into W7m, stopping them early on. And yet the energy, it's early. It's the first series. No NA team is present, but the crowd, they're alive. Thank you all so much for all being here so early and for being wide and awake. It helps us, it helps the players, and it makes for a great show.
Waiting for the crowd to start the "We are awesome."
I know what you're referencing, but yeah.
Jacob will catch the ref.
Yep.
W7m using their timeout. It was not helpful whatsoever for GK when they did it in the first half. 3 rounds won by W7m. GK calls their timeout. W7m wins the next 3. GK hoping that the same holds this time. See some changes already to this Locker CCTV defense. for GK. The big one, the Vigil, roaming downstairs, tellers, and around Archive.
The big one for attack is the Monty. Oh, my nade just runs in and takes down Trix. But yeah, the Monty's on the board for JV. Yeah, he's got 12 kills, but right now he's playing that intel game. And the thing is, when you have the Monty alive, you can go for a straight basement/server attack. But the confusing part is, W7m the Diffuser's gonna go server, but Monty goes garage.
Big emphasis right now on opening up blue. JV92 with the pistol out. That's not how you play Montaigne. What's going on here?
It's breaking the meta. I mean, if he opens the door... Wait a second. It's distraction. Oh, what?
Oh, that's not the usual way to use a shield, but there's multiple shields there now. KZ watching as Herds goes for a diffuser play. Multiple nitro cells. Not too bad, but Key will take matters into his own hands. All 3 kills so far to be had for the Valkyrie of GK. Bellapox now tagged in, watching the breach. That talent shield still there. Bellapox can try again. No nitro cells remaining. Engagements will have to be had directly as KZ watches over. Noodle will not let it happen. This is going to get really ugly. It's anybody's game. KZ in a 1v2. GK cannot throw bodies. GK, and the comeback is real.
Out of nowhere, through both bomb sites, Key with the snipe of the century to secure that the 2v1 goes in their favor. And they had to show him on the flank the entire time. He was scared of a drone. He was trying to figure out, okay, is it safe if I go now or not? It wasn't needed. Had a backup strategy there that never got to see the day of light. Or light of day. And for JV, taking Monty, going into garage, opposite the map, ADSing, dying early, couldn't do the distraction job that he was sent to do. And again, GK, they're running down W7m.
Now, are you going to tweet about how badly JV92 played Montaigne as well, or do you just...
I wouldn't dare.
Do you just pick on Kino?
I wouldn't dare. Okay, listen. That was a one and done round for JV, okay? He's allowed woes. Whereas Kino, I hate to say it again, but we cast him in the NAL. It wasn't a one-off deal for him. Also, JV and I, we're cool now,
Oh, okay.
We had that thing, a year and a half back, and now we're close, We see each other in the lobby, we're like, hello, how are you doing, good sir?
So you do deliberately bully Kino, is what you're admitting.
The thing is, I love Kino. And you know what they say?
You don't love JV92.
We're not that close yet. We're building toward it, and then we can stop bullying each other more.
Same bomb site rotation being used by both teams now. As W7m have been riding match point for 4 rounds, but as the timer stretches towards 15 minutes since W7m went to match point, they have failed to close it out at every opportunity. Though the last round was particularly close, you have to wonder, does that round play out maybe a bit differently if JV92 doesn't decide to just challenge an engagement with Monty and play a bit more standard in garage?
I mean, you'd have to believe that it would play out differently. It was a crucial part of their strategical decision in the round. And now, we see Philippox here, expecting a jump out, expecting that aggression from GK. And this is the mental line you play on a team. Okay, if you're GK, do you jump out? Are they holding you? You don't really know. So you play too fast, you get shut down because they're holding the angle. But if you play too slow, too far back on defense, you give up too much map control too quickly. And I like the fact that instead of a sledge or a bug, Casey brings out the ram. It's safer, you can do it from distance, from outside the building, and then just kind of play those long on the side. But a Prep C4 of Trix might maybe just find the kill, but again, it's not a sledge or a bug.
Just a little bit too late now as Trix tries to survive. That Boogie tearing away at the safety. The Trix had down below. Limited action so far between these teams as we now at the halfway point. GK could do the unthinkable here. Push us to a fateful 12th round if they prevail. Seemed unthinkable just a few minutes ago.
It did. No longer though. But this floor, it's gone. Lands inside the bomb site, opened up. They got the Osa, got the Capital. W7m, they want this 5v5 execute. They don't want to get kills right now. They're comfortable just getting to the objective itself.
If I'm Geekay, I'm a bit worried with how much damage I'm taking. Noodle dropped now, but still recoverable potentially. He sees the endless amount of bodies drop, but there's just so much coverage. W7m, seemingly fixing their issues, has shown to clutch a 1v5, but a flawless end to this first map by W7m. They deny the fairy tale story and comeback from Geekay. The defending major champs steal Geekay's map away 7-4.
And it all comes down to the attack inside from Geekay. If you don't go 0-6 in that scenario, you are very likely looking at overtime, or at the very least, a real shot at taking that first map.
1 or 2 rounds make all the difference. If Geekay had maybe had a bit of a faster start, we could still be going and the scoreline might be very different, but there's a reason why they're widely considered to be at the moment the best team in all of professional Rainbow Six, and that map is a good example of it. No, I was ready to believe in Geekay's comeback. I was so ready.
I was believing as well. It took a few rounds to get there, but once they actually got fired up on defense, they looked phenomenal. So if only their attacks could look better, quicker, then that bank is different. It's best of 3, as I said earlier. They got more maps to come.
W7m will now go up 1-0 and play on familiar territory at Clubhouse. We got the desk to break down that first map.
Thanks, Parky. Thanks, Pengi. You guys called this one a steal. It definitely looked a lot more like W7m had Geekay's number, and it was just too many rounds back to back to back, opening pick after opening pick, and suddenly this thing is over before Geekay really got a chance to get that thing going, Fox.
Absolutely. They were mounting a little comeback when you go down so many rounds. Out of the 6 attacking rounds that W7m was defending on, they got the first pick 5 of those rounds, and they only traded it once. So Geekay, to me, they were sending Hashom in, and I know there's a lot of weight on his shoulders. I know a lot of people are, why did he do so bad on attack? But the thing is, he was getting the bait, he was getting all the attention. There was no trade from the rest of his team behind him. No one was behind him. That's kind of how Geekay plays. But W7m read into that very well.
Yeah, that's the big thing for me, is W7m changed some of their defenses to try and make basically power positions. So you had the operators brought like the Valkyrie and the Echo that was providing the periphery utility on where the Geekay push was coming from. And then you had power positions with, you know, your smokes, your Goyos, your Izamis, everything like that, the shield setups. And that's why W7m got so far in front out on the defense, because Geekay will always play a style of attack that's very split, that's very solo. They don't really play for refrags, they play for all map pressure at the same time. And W7m had the perfect read into that. So they get themselves 6-0 up, and that's basically the game won. And I know that, you know, Parker and Pengu were saying if Geekay could just get a couple of attacks, but W7m countered their attacks so well.
Absolutely. Geekay looked a little discombobulated on the attacks. They didn't really change much up. A lot of the scenarios we saw was Hashom going in, as soon as W7m got a read on where he was, collapsing onto him. Even if they were able to get a leg up, get it positioning, go for the execute, they have the Echo, they have the Goyo, and then for the top floor sites, they had the Mirror, they had the Azami. They were going to be able to slow down the rest of Geekay, and they couldn't really get a foot in the door in the first place.
Now, when you go 0-6 down, you kind of, you know, if you've ever been 0-6 down, you kind of accept that the map's gone, right? But you just want to take something away from the map. And Geekay certainly did that. They managed to get, you know, a few defenses on the board. And I think, again, W7m started out with a very split style on their attacks, where, you know, we saw solo, you know, that double kill from Hashom there. It was a 1v1 and then a 1v1. And it was only in that very final round where W7m focused, right, we take top floor as one unit, and then we execute as one unit, rather than playing a little bit split, that W7m actually found that success.
What I like to see out of Geekay, especially going down that many rounds, was they were still in it. Hashom looked better on defense. They were finding their kills on defense. They were shutting down the same aggression that W7m was trying to bring on defense.
That's one thing that I will keep saying as well about Geekay as well, is no matter what happens with them, they have confidence and confidence and confidence in themselves. Even if it is 0-6, they're not going to believe that they're out of this game. They're just going to keep pushing and pushing.
W7m continue looking like the juggernauts that they were back in Stage 2 and the Copenhagen Major. But there is one thing that we can point to, other than Fox. You highlighted JV coming into this game, having one of the best stats performances. Homie was only 14-5, and he was like, what, 12-3 after round 8 or something like that? He was having a lights-out game.
Absolutely, especially being on the flex position. I noticed towards the end as well, that last round he picked Ash. He said, I'm going to do it myself.
He said, screw it, I'll do it.
He had to get it down. He couldn't let the rest of GK keep picking his team apart. They went for an aggressive fast play on that last round too, so.
You want to know the one thing that it looked like GK did though, and correct me if I'm wrong, it feels like they got a couple rounds, they had a bit of a comeback, they should have been feeling good about that.
Yep.
But they also got a crowd on their side, which is something that when you're up on a stage, talk about the pressure that comes with being on stage for the first time. You don't even know if the crowd's gonna boo you, yet it feels like they have the sixth man behind them already.
When the crowd's on your side, especially being GK as it's their first time to be at this event, it makes you play so much better. When those shots, after you hit a crazy shot, like the shot has shown hit from White, the one tap, and you feel the crowd erupt, it's an insane rush, and it makes you play better because that natural testosterone, that natural rush, you don't get it from anywhere else.
Well, let's see if they can keep that kind of trend going into map number 2, which we'll get to after a very short break, so don't go anywhere.
Hey, I'm Dominique Clément, game designer on Rainbow Six Siege. If you want to get ready to confront the next addition to the Siege roster, here are a few advice. Maverick's Flaming Gadget might be that one tool you can always rely on when it's time to melt through the enemy's defense. Training your sharpshooter skills, and more specifically, with gadgets like Zophia's Lifeline, will come in very handy when it comes to countering the effect of her fresh new face. Finally, it wouldn't be Siege if explosions didn't have an impact on your game. And this season is the perfect moment to review your frag throwing skills, because a well-placed bang might just be what you need to clear you and your team a path to victory. That's all for now, but make sure you tune in to the full reveal to get all the information on what's coming next season. See you there.
Hello, it's Mugli from Worlds.
I'm Doki from G2 Esports. I'm NJR and I play for Dark Zero, and I'm ready to play some Drone in the Unknown.
Doki, NJR, watch out, I'm gonna beat you.
I'm gonna beat Mowgli, that's no problem.
I could definitely beat G2.
Okay, it's like a toilet or a sink. Ooh.
This box on the right side.
I've seen this before.
Yeah, it's blue stairs on bank.
It's gotta be bank.
Ah, I know. Blue stairs.
Yes, I knew it. Oh wait, where's the sink? Ah, I didn't know there was a sink there.
After seeing that, I'm confident for the rest of it.
Club kitchen.
The brick wall on the back is like, that's the whole theme of Clubhouse.
That's kitchen on Clubhouse.
No, I'm not playing in kitchen. I play in my room.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised.
To be honest, I should know them all. If I don't know them all, I'll be embarrassed. Oh no, I've spoke way too soon.
I think it's pink, but I'm not sure.
I'm seeing a painting.
It feels like it's a big room.
I'm not looking at the actual paint, I'm looking at the stuff around it.
Oh, this is Teller's on Border.
Or is it Consulate?
Bank lawyer's office, I guess.
I'm gonna say that it's Border, Teller's Archives.
Hey, it's what I said.
You said?
No? I said Border, big room, Teller's.
Oh, it was! Oh! Yeah, the ceiling. That's genius. That's genius for me.
Number 4. I'm seeing like a trophy case, some guns in them.
It's Pirates des Caraïbes.
So it's a gun cabinet, but the thing that I'm focusing on is the walls behind it. It's a very strange kind of brick.
Like, you know, it's like, trophy glasses, you know.
That's Chalet Trophy.
I'm pretty sure it's Chalet Trophy.
I'm right. Not surprised.
Oh, yes!
Oh, it's trophy. Let's go.
Oh, 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. That is in Consulate, outside the garage breach.
Pretty sure it's Consulate garage.
Consulate, garage. So easy. I'm not sure.
Let's go. That's how it's done.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys at the major.
It's time to make history.
Behind a solid wall, the pings, they're all in his favor. There's a C4, but Souls does not care.
One kill away, and it's Volks to die. A new generation pick up where legends left off.
Map pick for GK goes to W7m, so now the MENA team enters this best-of-3 series in a pretty significant hole. Not to say they can't dig themselves back out of it, but this bad boy certainly took a turn for the worse from the guys from Saudi Arabia. I'm Jacob, he's fresh, he's Fox A. Map 2 is up on deck, and this one, Fox, why am I getting a really weird sense of deja vu from Map 2?
It's probably because they played it first game of Phase 2, and GK actually won it.
What?
Yeah, GK did win it.
GK won a game?
Absolutely.
Oh my word.
They won a couple games.
That's true, no, they did. Specifically against W7m, though, that's a bit of a shock.
Absolutely. I mean, the biggest reason why they won on Clubhouse 2 was their entries, being able to find those multi-kills, being able to get inside the map. But it looks like that's exactly what W7m has prepped, especially from Bank. That's the common theme that I'm going to notice. So I expect W7m to do the similar style setups, very slow, very turtle-based, wait for GK to walk in, their normal positions, and that's when they pounce. They try to get that opening kill.
That's exactly how we're feeling, and we're going to see here that W7m will start Clubhouse on the attack as well. So we saw the very last round of Bank where they're playing together, they're playing for the execute. They're not trying to play for the entry and kind of wander off, just play as a team. I'd expect very similar from W7m. When they lost against GK, I spoke to Philippox the next day, and he said, right, well, we played Clubhouse, we love Clubhouse, as do GK, to be fair. Both teams absolutely love it, but we were not on point with communication. Our coordination was not on point. We was just wandering off. We underestimated them. If you take all of those factors and you think, well, W7m aren't underestimating GK anymore. Their communication and coordination now looks on point. I would expect a totally different Clubhouse from the one we saw at the start of Phase 2.
Absolutely, and Clubhouse is one of those maps where you can really exploit the sites from outside the map, especially the server wall, the master wall, going through kitchen dirt. So absolutely, it's a map that you can exploit the site executes. They also mentioned that they know that GK has done their work, but a lot of the setups, a lot of the counters that GK prepare for W7m is based off the back of one man. So so W7m is targeting that one man.
You think we're getting a map 3 out of this series, gents?
No, I don't think so. I know that the crowd is with GK. I think that, you know, you've got to remember that this team is, you know, has not been a team that's played inside professional Rainbow Six for a long time.
Sure.
Mena's, you know, first year in competitive Siege, and they're playing with a sub. At some point, that strategic depth hits its limit, and when W7m are playing so well, that's where I kind of struggle. As much as I would love to see it, I don't see it happening.
So Fresh doesn't see a map 3. Fox, do you see a map 3?
No, I don't think so. The experience game is really what's coming into play for me. W7m not letting the crowd get to them, not letting that comeback get to them. I don't think it's going to go to
All
map
right, so
3.
Fresh doesn't think there's a map 3. Fox doesn't think there's a map 3. Do we want a map 3, though? I said, do we want a map 3, Atlanta? That's a little bit more like it. We got to get through map 2 first before we do that. So let's throw it back to your casters, Park Class and Tengu Makayatson, and Nakarker Penru Morkai.
Did I just have an aneurysm?
Yeah, I don't know what that was. It's a new one.
All right. Well, it sounds like he scrambled our names just as the first half of Bank scrambled our brains.
Yeah.
GK did show some life, I will say this. But now you go to very comfortable territory for W7M. They're going to be fired up after that match, especially with the scare that they had. And the community's mind has changed a little bit.
Yeah. Oh,
Many
boy.
of you turncoats betraying GK and going to W7M. We're ready for map number 2.
So, good teams, they will strategize, they'll come up with counter attacks and defenses, studying the games of their opponents throughout this tournament. But the best teams, they will do that live in the server. You see an outcome of a round, your guys just attack this bomb site in a similar way with a few minor changes. And those small changes can change the entire outcome of how that round plays out, especially on a map like Clubhouse. Yeah, Bank is your methodical, top-down, kind of ABC bomb site with not that much adaptation required. Clubhouse, very much fundamentals, but very much following things to a T. And when things don't go your way, or you want to change things up, you very much can. We see bans coming out, and despite Hashoman Finken not having that much success previously on Bank, it's still going to be target banned this time around by W7M. Surprise. Didn't see that one coming. Fear or respect?
Fear or respect?
None. Ooh. Okay.
I don't know how you ban somebody if you don't have either of those.
Well, it's the random ban.
Maybe an inconvenience, I suppose.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not necessarily fear. Maybe it's just a lack of desire. I'm not sure.
I was gonna say it might be a case of W7M don't envision playing
That's
themselves.
very close. That was very close.
Too close?
Closer. Get in closer. Hands. No, these are the shots. The camera's next to them.
Yeah.
He's not handheld.
No, those are they just sit there. But it might be a case of W7M not wanting to play Finka. They say, no, we don't care about this operator, so why should our opponent be able to play it if they do care about it? And things will start in a similar way for a different team. When W7M start on defense on Bank, they start open area, they're roaming all across the map. Now we see GK starting basement Clubhouse defense, doing a very extensive roam. Top floor rotates, hatches opened off, soft destruction on the floors, but we've snuck in a drone. Billy Pucks, he's got very crucial intel on where the room is in that top floor portion of the map. I can say, okay, if it's clear, fly on in. If not, get those yellow pings out, find the locations, take them down, and build that early man advantage.
What's the win condition here for a successful Clubhouse defense? How many rounds are GK looking at if they want to position themselves well for the second half?
Well, if they attack the same way as on Bank, they need all 6 defense victories. But let's assume that they're decent on attacks here in Clubhouse because they did beat them last time. I think a 3-3 half, realistically, is what you're looking for GK. Tie things up.
Noodle gambling his life away in stock at the moment on that Wamai. With magnets in back pocket. Oh. Just managing to get away from JV92. Key not having the same fate.
Loading mag!
No, not at all. It's a quick one for W7M. Got that top floor, now on the primary floor. You see the kite balls in action, but they got answers. They got Dasher, KC can breach that apart. Ibana as well. Open up those hatches, and again, it's about ABCs now. They got that early advantage, slow things down. Set up your flying drones, don't die to the C4s, and just really right now, just make sure you get everything opened up, apply pressure everywhere, and see where the bomb site is weakest.
I like that attempt by Leader, even if it doesn't ultimately pay off. Half of the round now gone. An operator who really didn't see a lot of play on Bank, but whose pick rate has surged is Gridlock, and she will have some prominence now with Nade bringing her right away. If you're fearing a potential retake from above, those track stingers are especially handy as anti-flank measures. The fact that W7m has a numbers advantage means that they can stick somebody on flank watch as well.
Yeah, they can. And that's the thing right now, they still got a minute to work with. Sledge rotating over, it's gonna be Belly Pox, was on drone earlier. Here we see the beautiful utility, EMP goes out, X.ke follow, second EMP goes out as well to ensure that if a kind claw trick was happening, it gets shut down immediately. So now, W7m, they got everything they want. Their next step now is choose, are we gonna go for blue attack? And it's gonna be a kitchen hatch drop because the hatch has not yet been opened up. But there's more X.ke from JV92's pocket, 10 more to go.
40 seconds left, but another body will hit the floor from Geekay. As Trix is down for the count, Nade, who tosses in a grenade. Noodle gets the refrag before soldiering away, losing half of his HP. He was involved in an early altercation as well. Geekay losing the safety they had in Church, but firing back as Noodle is good for 3 before being put in the ground by Felipox. Now leader's next in line, but he looks the wrong way. The opening created by W7m, so far flummoxing Geekay. Hashom with the smart class is in! Felipox seals the deal in round number 1. W7m take the first round.
And now let's look back at that early beginning of that round. If W7m don't find the opening kill, what happens then? That 5 versus 4 becomes a 5 versus 5, and it comes down to those very close moments. The 1v1s, the 1v2s, that can make or break the round. The only criticism there I have for Geekay, they didn't really commit to the roam. It was a very early fallback, one member stuck around, died early, and you just play 4 guys on site. On Bank, that doesn't really go all that poorly on like basement defense because you got the C4s, you got the plant deny, and it's much more limited where attackers can be coming from. But on Clubhouse, you got 3 separate hatches, you got dirt tunnel, you got main staircase, blue staircase, you can flank from garage. So all of a sudden, falling back early with a numbers disadvantage, not where you wanna be. Then they swing out and try and bring the fight to their opponents because they got the yellow ping information. And it doesn't work out for Trix, but it works out for Noodle. 2 kills to follow up, and the 3rd in the main staircase. And it looked like that right there was a round-winning play, but no. In the 2v2, it was W7 just a little bit stronger that gets the round.
5 seconds to go.
A rough go of it for Geekay, but still a relatively good first round for them, all things considered.
Oh, and they're gonna go back to the same bomb set as well.
Not gonna really change much up when it comes to that bomb site, but they will blow up their operator composition.
Yeah, the Solus here, they recognize that W7 had too much intel in the beginning of that round. They must have a good prep phase drones. So Hashom on the Solus now can say, hey, now they have no intel, or if they do have it, they can locate it, shut it down. But it's gonna be more of a fake roam, if you will. It's Trix playing inside a bar early on, then falling back. Now it's Hashom on the main staircase, looking for that final drone perhaps, to then fall back. So they have surrendered the roam entirely now. W7 don't know this exactly, they're gonna drone everything out, but once they figure it out, it's gonna be a very, very big advantage in terms of time that the attackers have to work with.
It's nice to see a Grim on the board as well for the attackers, an operator whose pick rate has increased since some changes were had, but you remember, this was played back in Copenhagen. I think they even played him all the way back at SI on Cafe when Grim was decidedly a worse operator. The flank watch that we've seen being rotated between Nomad, Gridlock, and to an extent, that Grim, it is good to see the different applications that those operators are used in.
So if you open up the bar hatch now, you're prone to a C4 off through the hatch. You don't find the Valkyrie camera first. And they're fishing right now. It's gonna be a utility game first. The EMPs, the X.Kairos, the Kai Claws. If you can trick the hatch successfully, stall for more time, deny more X.Kairo pellets, and deny a way in for the attackers, you're doing great. But that's not the focus right now. It's gonna be kitchen hatch first. Blue's already opened up as well, but Jamie taking an early fight.
And maybe a bit needlessly, because I don't know if Noodle's gotten the down. A grenade goes out by Hashom. Geekay on the board first. It's Electro Shuffle now as a second Kaid Claw will go. Put in pocket to get juggled. Will it work? No. Trix will have to get out of there, and he leans back to give him the speed buff. But he can get out of dodge faster.
I'm not gonna lie, I almost feel like he might have had if he had stuck it actually. At least it would have been very, very close, but he knows better. He peels back, keeps it in pocket, denies something else instead. That church wall perhaps. The info now is defenders no dirt tunnel is clear.
What was that
But
from
Blue
Noodle?
is under
How does he get away
fire.
from KZ and Blue?
Running back and forth. This nade, that gets the injury. That could be a planned setup. Doesn't.
Doesn't get anything. Philippox will attempt again. The smoke of Key right now inside of dirt. The drop from the Osa. Nade somehow surviving. W7m striking twice. Noodle with 1 kill. Key attempting to stop the diffuser from going down. Not successful so far, as Noodle is just playing the keep away game. Nade with the diffuser in hand. It's all up to Hashom, who dies. W7m so formidable. 2-0.
You can really tell the experience in that round between these two teams is the big difference maker. W7m, they had a really good read on situation. Okay, Osa's gonna be our way into the bomb site, get that plan down. Grim can bait either on the kitchen edge or on the blue side of the portion of the map, and then you just throw those grenades, drop with it, and put down a talent shield, plant behind it. And GK, they're fighting every single portion of the map. They're fighting blue, they're fighting main stairs, they're fighting motorheads, they're fighting kitchen edge, they're trying to deny the plant there as well. And it's almost like GK needs to understand what's the important part of this round. Do you want to shut down the flank first, or do you want to shut down the plant? Because you're trying to do everything at once, you're spreading yourself so thin. And then all of a sudden you're looking at more attacking guns facing your direction. You're a single defender, you're not going to overcome that obstacle. So they die in those positions, they lose those gunfights, and rightfully so, because they arguably misplayed right here. The walk down blue gets the double kill. Noodle sprinting back and forth the entire round downstairs in blue, and eventually gets found by KC. But a very well thought out round from W7m.
He lived far longer than we might have thought, Nick.
Absolutely.
In that position, wasting time. No second attempt at laundry supply room now after GK's maybe not the most proficient. Instead, they'll go upstairs. Not the bomb site you think.
Oh, it's not as easy as it is that. Oh,
hold on a second. It's a rat angle from Trixt. That hallway door. Goodbye to KZ. No Nook, no surprises to be had now on the bomb site.
It's a big kill. Half the nade's gone as well, and I will say, whenever I play ranked and I die to that angle, it is the closest thing to make me all dead for. It is the worst to go down prone below the barricade in the hallway of kitchen. Like, what are you doing there? That's what happens if you don't pay respect. The drone thinks up, but also the benefit of having a solos in defense, you know where the drones are going to be at. If you know that portion of the map is clear, go for that spawn peek. They have no intel. That's gonna slow things down. The lurk is gone from KC's Nurk. The bandit trick could be successful.
Hashom will get the bandit battery down, and there it goes.
Beautiful. And
that happened because the crowd wasn't cheering loud enough. There's no way you hear that if they're screaming their lungs out.
It was the jammer denies the drone hole, so Hertz or Nate couldn't drone in through to see if Bandit was in fact tricking that wall, but you'd almost have to assume, because where else would Bandit be playing at? He's not playing CC, that wall's already opened up, so they gambled it, knowing they got a second exothermic charge in pocket, but now things are gonna slow down more. And W7m, they've rotated off the Kusi, they're not gonna breach that wall, at least not yet, they're gonna go for the roam clear instead from CC over.
Noodle still holding court at top red. Thrown in his way, Tricks down below, but gets punished by Philippox, who's yet to die so far on this map. I might have spoken a bit too soon as a flash now goes out and Noodle escapes with his life intact.
He's out. That's smart. They get the opening kill with spawn peek earlier, they get that follow-up trade now, they got that numbers advantage now, you can sacrifice the roam, there's no shield, there's no like reinforcements really, they haven't invested that much of that portion of the map, so it's pretty weak. Instead, run back to bar, off the main stairs he will go and play that 4v3 on side. It's a very strong bomb side to set up those crossfires on this gym defense.
JB92 will now head over towards the gym or bedroom windows, depending which one he chooses to engage from. These players from GK have eluded them, staying out of reach. A nice pre-fire, but has shown it's his mark on the board far earlier than we saw on bank. Only 2 remain from W7m. They've taken Hashom out, but with 30 seconds left. The bigger issue now is getting into the site. Getting the diffuser down. Noodle decides to swing again. He likes these engagements. W7m being chipped away at, nade down for the count. Key, the final 2 picks. A successful round for GK nets them their first round win.
And a much more decisive one as well. The backbone of that gym bomb site, the most important part for the defense to hold on to is that office portion. It's not a bomb site itself, but it kind of connects everything together. when you only got those 3 attackers alive from W7m, you don't really have the manpower to take office control. You want window presence, you want connector presence, but then you also want office presence. You have 3 members alive in 3 very separate positions. So I like that they went 2 guys window, 1 guy connector, and tried to play closer together. But realistically speaking, you're just not gonna win that round unless GK make a massive blunder of a mistake, and they don't. They played a stable, consistent round all the way through. The bandit trick early on, the rotation from Noodle, fighting back when they had to, and then leaving territory of the attackers when they didn't need to any longer. And that's also with tricks dying relatively early on, but this right here, Noodle, running down, massive. Hasham, find that window pick, massive as well. The round plays out, yellow pings, the crossfires, no way in for W7m. They went upstairs, they found success, they're gonna stay upstairs. CCTV is next, and we see this catwalk rafters. Observation blockers for the drones, ADSs as well. But there's no Asami, it's been banned out by the attack inside. And that means that it's much more hard, it's harder to hold on to rather. So I mean Noodle, with the Wamai disc in pocket, we can sit in that position, but if W7 want to pick it apart, well, they might not want to do that, actually. They have no grenades. They have no capital fire. They have no ways to clear Noodle from the Raptors position outside of a bunch of flashbangs and gunplay. So they're probably gonna go for connector breach instead. Go master bedroom roam clear, if I had to guess.
There's the hatch from above, and now over towards construction. Single Selman waiting for a kill from construction. Nobody wants to give it to him. KZ picked off early yet again. Logic bombs go out, maybe to hold GK in place as they move their way through Jim. Key drone down, hunted down. 2 separate players engaging, but he's managing to get away. That's your own teammates. That's not supposed to happen.
It's not, and there's one more robber.
He pays for it, Nick.
They didn't drone it out. I mean, this is sloppy from W7m.
Herds sending numbers as close as they can, back to even, but still GK doubling up on W7m with a ton of time left. Hunting down below, but able to find much. Most players from GK have coalesced around the bomb site upstairs. Fellapok's not too far removed, but he'll wade through construction. He'd opened it up earlier on.
Yeah, but I mean, how do you break this apart? You gotta win some crazy gunfights if you're Fellapok, because Hertz is downstairs, so he's all alone.
Show him holding that really tight angle, and now Gumines will go out as well. I don't know if Fellapok is aware of how close proximity is. Super shorty in hand, and 2 Gumines directly through the door. It really does pack a punch, but just not enough. Fellapok's walking away with a single point of HP. Toxic canister will reduce him to nothing, but it's the SMG-11 to do that instead. Herds charging up red stairs. Another toxic gas canister tossed out. Herds taking damage, but still walking forwards. Not looking through the drone hole. Leader shooting away. GK with 2 rounds now to match W7m, and we've got a tie game.
I mean, Hasham was caught playing the wrong game there. I thought he was playing Pokemon. Throwing the ball at Fellapok's feet saying, "Can I catch you?" Well, no. 1 HP left for Fellapok. He gets the kill instead. It's looking good for GK. They're finding kind of like their momentum, how to play these rounds, when to push, when to let go, and finding those kills. And I gotta say, for the first time in this best of 3 so far, I was actually disappointed in W7m's operator lineup. Again, no grenades, no capital fire, no Grim, no way to deal with CCTV garage portion of the map, so they're forced into a full roam clear. And funny enough, GK, they had 2-3 roamers on master bedroom side of the map, so they're so ready for it. And it's all guns placed from W7m, but they're a util team. They're so proficient at setting things up, and in this round, they didn't do that. They just fell by the wayside.
Yeah, I mean, you called it really early on. Poor drone work, sloppy entry.
Attackers bombing user house.
Go figure, it's the 2 bomb sites that are maybe a bit more unorthodox in how teams want to go for a defensive setup. That caused some serious issues with W7m's entry.
Yeah.
Both times GK has defended the downstairs bomb site, they have failed. They'll try a 3rd time. hope for different results.
I'm not a fan of this. I mean, it can work. It absolutely can. It's been close, relatively close.
I mean, where do you go? You got to go stage. That's your only other option.
I want to see them go bar. That's exactly it. They play top 4 bomb sites. They're roaming on the map dynamically, and it wins the rounds. Now they're going to go back to the basement where they're going to be locking themselves in, you know, not be able to move a whole lot. Right now, they do have Key on the roam top floor, but if he gets thrown out, they run upstairs, he's probably going to die as well. We'll see how they do it, though. They got different operators, the Mute and the Mozzie for drone intel deny, and Noodle actually also has run up the staircase to support his teammate of Key.
Noodle's really been the wild card through these last 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Rome has been unpredictable. He's gotten under the skin of W7m. I mean, he was a factor back in round number 2, but not in the right way. He's lived far longer than we thought over in blue. This time, playing from above. There goes a logic bomb, and Herds will be very fast to follow up, but guess who it is to get the first kill for GK? Noodle. Tearing strips through Herds.
Yeah, he's just moving, beeping and bopping. He's weaving this top floor around. He's moving a lot, but he stays alive, and Hashom downstairs finds JV92 as well.
Hashom on the board. Noodle drops, that's what he gets, but there's again a bit of sloppiness. They're just falling by the wayside. I mean, if you're going to run a Mute Mozzie combo, you're gonna be able to capitalize off a lack of information, and that's what GK is doing. W7m really don't have an answer for the Mute and Mozzie that we see, and this is like 2020. Oh, nice nade by Nade, living up to his namesake. This is like 2020 Siege right now.
Yeah.
With Mute and Mozzie dominating Clubhouse.
Yeah, and they go for Capital. No Jackals. It's like they know or should know the roam is very present, but they go for util basement, you know, bomb site hitting operators instead. It's a bit of a misjudge there from W7m.
Bomb has been located.
A show him on this tight angle inside of Moto. Waiting for one of the 2 remaining players from W7m to press forward, but they decide that that's not the play to be had. Instead, over towards Stock they'll go. 3 sets of track singers available for the gridlock of Nade. Grenades 2, EMP drops. Grenade tossed in, down towards blue, no target to be had. W7m now struggling. Fighting against shadows. Tricked with the Nitro Cell, positioned. And if thrown so gracefully, could do damage. Nade shoots it away, but you gotta walk through 2 areas that are being watched quite intently by GK. They get one, Trix gets both. 3 rounds in a row, GK with the lead.
They got that momentum. Once they got it on bank, it was a very close first map, and they only really lost the way that they did because, well, the attacks from GK didn't go their way. Now, if they go 4-2.5 and take this next defensive round, they have done more than they need to do to have a realistic shot at winning Clubhouse. But they need to show up in the attack inside. You cannot win a best of 1 or a best of 3 by only being good on half of the rounds you're supposed to be playing on one side. But on defense, GK, they are the real deal. But they gotta show us more after this upcoming final defensive rounds where they will take us to that gym bomb site, so bar will not be played this time around.
This is where everything started to go bad for W7m as well, right?
Yeah.
Running head first into the players from GK with limited information at their disposal. And GK seemingly finding the secret sauce at that point. Using the Mute, using the Mozzie, using a Solus every single round almost in order to impose their will on W7m.
5 seconds
Now you
left.
said that the win condition for GK in this first half was 3 rounds. They've accomplished that.
They have.
They can do
Attackers are
better
heading
than
out
what
to
you
defuse the
said
bomb.
if they prevail on the site. That started this streak back in round number 3.
I also said that good teams, they have prep work, they come into it, and they, you know, they use the paper that they have. But great teams will make adaptations live in the server on a round-by-round basis. GK, they have been doing that better, in my opinion, than that of W7m so far in Clubhouse in terms of operators. Okay, GK realized that W7m love droning, so they play Solus, Mozzie Mute a whole lot. W7m, they see that GK are roaming a lot, but they don't play Jackal. They play Dokkaebi half the rounds, but there's no Jackal. They play Capital. They don't play the Grim previously either. They're not playing the Shield operators despite not being banned out. So I really like this matchup so far. Bit of utility play here. Maverick Torch to either get the Mute Jammer, Experiment Charge goes off afterwards, and that wall will be opened up in... There we go, just a second.
This is on the part of the map that we saw the Selmas get thrown to last time. On the Ace. But now you're going to bring an operator who doesn't really have that high of a pick rate so far, and that's Thermite. Or sorry, that's Maverick to accompany Thermite.
Yep. It's a nice counter. Wait, go for it. Yep.
And Herds will sprint on in. JV92 is dead. GK reading into this, winning the duels. Hitting their marks. Bellapox trying his best. It's not good enough. Nade is almost in the bomb site. Three players from GK remain. Attempting a duel. Giving his position away. They got him on cam. We've only got the perspective of one, but the rest of GK can close in as need be. Nade will likely play for picks with a little over a minute to go.
Close. I mean, Nade's looking for it. Holding the ankles, waiting for the inexperienced players of GK to make that swing and make that mistake and isolate the 1v1s, but they're not going to give it to him.
Halfway through the defuse plant, there's a nitro cell to go out. Nade concerned with different angles. Ashom gets the final kill. 4 rounds in a row. GK take the first half.
Can you believe it? 3-3 expectation. They go 4-2, 4 rounds in a row. Convincingly. They get rushed, they read it, they hold it, they deny it. The crowd believes and I believe as well. So, we got the analyst of GK, Waisu. Please talk to us here.
Hello guys.
Something. Hello. I want to ask you, if you don't mind, what was going on backstage after map number 1? You guys, were down 0-6, you almost made the comeback. What was your focus going to Clubhouse?
The main part was confidence, to be honest. I mean, we were not playing that bad, but we were getting that trace. So we focused on keep humble as a team, saying that Clubhouse was a good map. We won this team on Clubhouse. We knew that they're going to pick it to do counter analysis, and that's what they did. But at the end of the day, we are here because we trust on ourselves, playstyle, traits, amazing players that we have. And that's the message that we bring to them. Just enjoy the experience, and we can beat them if we are like 100% confident with ourselves.
You mentioned confidence. When you won that first round all the way back on Bank, did you see something change in the way that the team were playing?
Yeah, of course. Not only winning the first round, but for example, that has some round that gives 1 tap and triple kill.
Yeah.
As far as you start getting confident with yourself, as Hassan did, the teams start working. And that's what happens in the phase 2 and phase 1, winning those teams and coming with victories. So yeah, of course, we are a very emotional team.
So I have 1, maybe 2 more questions for you, Wasu. Seeing how Clubhouse is playing out so far, I feel like GK are doing a great job at counteracting W7m round by round with operators, right? They like droning. You guys play Mercy, Mute, Solus, for example. Was that something that you pre-planned before this, or is it the players adapting as it's happening?
Well, we talk about a bit. We have seen the Clubhouse, not only our Clubhouse versus them, but also the Clubhouse they play versus SSG.
Yeah.
And we talk about it, but to be honest, it's all not only the players' work, that of course Leader, Nadal, and Key are bringing a lot of adaptation, and that's so fucking good. But also about Alo. Alo's work, not only this game, but all the major and all the time that we have been together in Geekay was amazing. He's probably, I'm gonna say it, one of the best coaches in the world right now.
Wow.
And he has been working as fuck for this. So yeah, that's what we got.
Last question, got to be really quick. How much does having the crowd behind you help this team?
A lot. Thank you so much. We didn't expect this. We love you guys, and thanks for all the help.
Thank you, Wasu. Thank you so much. That was very insightful, I gotta say. What a pleasure that is. What an honor. Thank you so much for choosing to come on here while your team is playing. I know it's nerve-wracking, but good news for you. You guys are winning right now. You're up 4-2 in the second map to tie things up. W7m, I mean, it was spoken of by Wasu, like the counterplay here, reading their opponent, preparing for these outcomes, and then adapting in the serve because the prep work is there. But JV says, no, I don't care about the prep work. I'll go for the swing early and get the kill into Hasham.
Well, we had a bit of a tech issue, which is why that interview got a little bit longer than I think we had originally anticipated. It allowed the teams maybe to settle some nerves a little bit. They can't talk to each other during tech issues. But if you're W7m, there's gotta be some weight after that almost comeback in map 1, and now what we've seen from GK through this map as well. W7m obviously will favor this defender-sided Clubhouse. Coming into the second half, I don't think they're too worried. But I can't help but imagine that part of their own confidence has been chipped away at with the way that GK have started this map.
Oh yeah, I mean, you saw in the ban phase when GK asked, did you ban Fink out of respect, out of fear? They said none. I think W7m, they're starting to respect GK more and more as every round is playing through right now, because it is much closer than it should be. And I will say, GK convincing rounds in defense, but the big question for me was, how are they gonna do on attack? Their pace right now, they're quick in the building, but they lost a member early to a spawn peak, basically, or to him walking dirt early. Now they open up the hatches, breaking the software, etc. With a minute and 14 to go, their pace is actually really good and really quickly, and Hurts, he's pulling a Noodle, but he doesn't get away with his life intact.
If anybody knows that position, it's Noodle, who did the exact same thing himself. This time he said, no, I'm the only person who gets to escape from blue, and I'm gonna make you pay for it! 3 kills to be had from the same position. W7m started this round off well, but it won't end well. 5 stitched together now for GK.
Noodle was doing the interview before the game started, and he didn't say very many words. He's relatively new to this. He's a young player, but he said, you know what, I'll do the talking in the server. This man on your screen right now, Noodle, popping off in map number 1, popping off as well here in map number 2, leading the entry, finding multi-kill after multi-kill, and saying, you know what, you can try and get that crossfire going, I will tear it apart. And with that round going that way so convincingly, and W7m being down 2-5, they have called their tactical timeout. They certainly have either fear or respect, or maybe a little bit of both right now in this map.
Maybe not for the Finkas. I mean, Hashom was not exactly the best Finka on Bank, so I think what they said was correct. But either way, I mean, there's obviously some fear from W7m. This is not the matchup that they had expected. Certainly not the result that they'd expected. If 3-3 as a first half was the win condition for GK, they are running away with the expectation game.
They are. No, they absolutely are. And again, I want to praise the small things because I think it's so important. The operator selection, what operators they're playing, where their positions are, they're reading on the map itself and punishing, finding those very small gaps from W7m. It's hard to do, but they make it look relatively easy right now. And it's a full team effort. Great pick from Trix. Flashbang in hand. You see Noodle. He knows how much he did in that round. It's a nice cosplay.
Noodle is 19 years old, by the way, just in case you're wondering about the age of some of these players competing on stage.
10 seconds to go.
19 years young, Parker.
5 seconds remaining.
Just trying to think back to either phase 1 or phase 2, and we were talking about the ages of the players that were competing. And how, like, being 23 years old makes you among the oldest people here competing on stage.
Yeah, that was a Bleed. They had the same story. Mentalist was 23, rest were like 18, 19, 20. GK aren't all that far off that mark. I mean, Leader Noodle got some experience in Tier 1 before, but not all that much, especially with a live crowd in the quarterfinals. So you're leading this team while being basically as quote-unquote inexperienced as the rest of the squad with a substitute. I gotta say that Leader is not supposed to be here, but he is.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's not good.
Well, superstar of the previous round and the best player statistically for GK, Noodle removed. The Monty looked for a follow-up. This is Shom now inside a garage, posturing, standing there menacingly.
I mean, we know the garage is pretty free. JV's there with Nishin, but this is what W7m didn't do themselves. They couldn't clear out Catwalk. The thing is, while the Monty's inside a garage, Key's hung down a room and bar, Hurts gets shut down because Leader's got to follow up, so the Monty's a distraction game right now. No one's there to support him. It's about their own clear.
Key had information onto the Fenrir, but he's not the one to take Herds out. JV still persisting right now. This standoff for the ages.
No, don't do it.
Trying to bait him into the play. There's a portion of that garage wall where you might be able to spot JV92, but right now, the Brazilians are not taking the bait.
I mean, They're waiting, right? They're holding each other hostage inside a garage. So it's a 1-for-1 trade. And it's a 4v4 round. The thing is, GK eventually gotta come around to this garage portion of the map, clear out JV, or strike elsewhere, because right now they're kind of stalling. They don't want to do that, so they gotta stop making a proactive play and take down JV preferably.
Hashom now trudging up the catwalk stairs. Impact goes out. Damage to be done. The gas missing, but there's the ping. Still trying to bait JV92 into this engagement. GK are losing time. They have to do something to deal with this Montaigne. And there we go. You gotta be shitting me! How did Hashom win that? Advantage now favoring GK with 30 seconds left. They've got a wide open B bomb site, but they have to worry about the cross at the top of red. Hashom still working his way forward. He's got all this map control that he freed up earlier on. KZ now dropped as well. Smoke goes out. Hashom will die to that. Diffuser in the hands of Leader, so you don't have to worry too much. Nade in a very pivotal spot. KZ still down. Nade will go down below. He's with Felipox, but they have no post plant. Followed up on the Nitro Cell has claimed their own teammate. Shotgun out, and GK get away with it. 6-2 the scoreline. It's map point for GK.
For a team that doesn't have the experience to play these kinds of rounds, they are putting on a show. GK with the problem solved after problem solved after problem solved. They clear catwalk. They approach the site. They clear the C4 downstairs. They plant in the right location with the right cover in the right place at the right time. And despite being an even man count, 3 versus 3, they looked like they had an army behind them on the attacking side, even though they did not. They're up a match point now. And remember, W7m, they picked Clubhouse. They said, we'll take the rematch. We'll happily go there. Need I remind you, last time these two teams played each other in Phase 2 on the first day, it was also in Clubhouse. GK won 7-4. They might win this 2 rounds quicker. If they win this following round, they can go 7-2 and increase that scoreline and set themselves up perfectly for the 3rd and final map. But comebacks are possible. We almost saw GK do it themselves on Bank. W7m, they're gonna do something that some players love to see it, some players hate to see it. They're gonna bring out the Clash on defense. You don't see this very often on Clubhouse. And certainly not on Gym.
Clash, yay or boo?
They don't like it. What about...
Took too long to make up your mind.
Last time the crowd was cheering for GK, they were down on match point. This time, very much in the lead, so the script has completely changed between the first 2 maps. And I think all eyes right now are gonna be on Nade and JV roaming together on this Cass side of the map, because they're gonna hold on to the extension right now. The drones are coming out, they see this hold, and they gotta make a very quick adaptation here. Are they gonna pick it apart in the attack or rotate elsewhere? Clash is hard to deal with. They don't have much to do. They have 1 set of grenades, that's it. No capital fire, no Kali, no Nomad, no Sophia, no actual counterplay. And the nades aren't even there because he's on Jacuzzi's side.
Well, a very fateful round for W7m, who've thrown everything at the wall, but just nothing will stick at this point. Use your timeout. You won the first 2 rounds in relatively dominant fashion, but then have been trailing every step of the way. Oregon, by the way, is map number 3. And I imagine between these 2 teams, it will not be Borigan, as you like to call it.
No.
Not you, the crowd.
I'm speaking on behalf of the crowd here.
Oh, okay.
There's no way it's gonna be a Borigan.
Let's play from Key, waiting for the Solus. Hurts!
Beautiful.
Baited in. It's KZ, though, to take all the fire and all the smoke. A follow-up logic bomb. Hurts, so persistent in this spot in bathroom. It's on the razor's edge. Hurts and JV combining for 5 kills. Pretty much tells the full story. Shield on the back, nade with sidearm in hand. Taking out Hashom. Now there's a smoke to conceal Herds' position. EMP goes in, Herds still stuck in this spot. Do they know it though? Down goes Noodle as JV92 is there. The defenders winning their engagements. GK still in this though. Nade drops, JV92 does as well. All onto the shoulders of Leader. In a 1v2, a very precarious position. The top of main stairs, Herds has pulled out the shotgun. Leader at full HP. He's out dusted by Felipox. W7m break the streak. They're still in this Clubhouse map.
One more round, yes, that's all they need. A close attempt of a semi-rush there on Jacuzzi, and one gunfight could have changed the outcome of the round. But we seem to barely survive it. The clash was picked and played, but didn't really have much of an impact in the round. It was the shield behind the back, gun up and active instead. Likely because they lost a member early on. But small things, right? GK go for the Jacuzzi breach, and then it's just like Thermite walks up there, breach the wall, walks in. No. They have a guy holding the angle for the possible impact deny from Bathroom. Then Thermite rotates over, and either they will guarantee get the wall opened up, or they will bait a possible free pick right here. Beautiful. These very small things that I love to see, because it just shows that the players and the team of GK in this situation, they're taking an extra step. That extra second saying, hey guys, I need you to do this for me so I can accomplish this for you.
10 seconds remaining.
No, none of that.
He really seized the moment there.
The objective is to locate a bomb and defuse it.
All right, fine. Can I get a Hoya?
Attackers have located a bomb.
You know, you're like a proud father.
My parents watch this.
How very mature of you.
All right, W7m showing some signs of life. They'll go downstairs to church. This is where I think GK broke their proverbial back and forced the timeout of W7m. Briggs attempting to light up KZ as the first bit of action unfolds. JV, KZ, and Herds need to lead the way on this team in kills. They are not doing so. Felipox and Nade combining for 16 kills. Despite the fact that W7m only have 3 rounds to their name, that is very impressive.
Yeah.
But as we know, when we used to talk about your team, and when you and Fabian would lead the way, or Goga and Fabian would lead the way, that generally means something is going wrong.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, if your frontliners are not getting their job done successfully, then there's a gap somewhere, there's an issue, and it can be the supportive cast not doing enough, or it can just, of course, be individual performances. JV going 3-8. He was like 9-1 on Bang, I believe, before he started dying later on, before the side swap came through, and he's just not really been seen or heard much of so far in Clubhouse. But I think you can kind of tell the pressure and nerves that get into GK here. Playing a bit slower, playing a bit more laid back. They haven't fully roamed through the map. I don't know if they know that Felipox is roaming, but they'll find out later on. He's got that primary shotgun, he's got the C4, but they're looking up the hatches, so they're assuming there's someone up there, but they have no idea where he actually is.
Felipox has been phenomenal through both maps so far. Might be hard to penetrate the Brazilian market because they don't often speak English, but I mean, Felipox has been doing a great job of tying that in. Hold on a second here. Noodle drops. He's taking matters into his own hands. He doesn't want this match to go on any longer than it needs to. Now W7m's been boxed out entirely. Noodle dropped. W7m actually winning. They spot Hashom in the post plant. Leader with a big pick. Here's one. Thunderous footsteps above as Felipox walking down main stairs. Leader pivoting, but he loses the duel. Hashom in a 1v2. The timer running. GK could win this one. It's real ugly. Hashom giving his position away, but the youngster buckles under pressure, and W7m have no problem clearing out the post plant.
When you're in those 1v2s on match point, the only way to get better is through experience, through failing, through losing those rounds. And Hashom has not been here many times on a stage like this before, if ever. He played it as he wanted to go on the offense, look for the swing. He didn't win the gunfight. He shook a little bit, so he plays it passive. He took a breath and said, you know what, I'm going to try it one more time. The timing didn't quite favor him. He was looking left and he got swung from the right. Things did not line up. And you see from W7m's player cams, they know they're just way too close for comfort. We've been on match point for the last 2 rounds, and I think we're gonna need a couple of more before things are all said and done. But what a great opening here. The grenade, the instant off-pace drop, gets the second kill, pushes through the AKs, denies the camera, the bulletproof, but then things fall apart. They rush the plant attempt when players were not necessarily in the right positions to go for it, when things were not stable enough. So while the plant goes down, they lose 3 bodies. And it comes down to that faithful 2v2, which they lost ultimately.
Remaining.
Are we about to witness the opposite of what happened in map number 1, where it looked like GK was going to make the comeback happen, and then hearts broke at the final moment? Same could be had for W7m, but I mean, again, W7m playing the favored side on Clubhouse. It's their map, and while they have been knocked off stride several times, and they are still on the razor's edge of defeat.
Yeah.
You can never count out this W7m squad. They've been magnificent so far this year. Now, if you recall, the last time that Amonte was brought by GK onto this bomb site, JV92 had his hands full. It was a stare down for well over 2 minutes into the round. Small difference is that JV92 is now in a relatively safer position, and he's got KZ for backup. But the way that GK is approaching this garage is very similar. Now, they're opening up those garage walls, and they also have the Monty still breathing down their neck.
But adaptations are made. KC set for support, got the one-minded to stop the capital fire, which is exactly what GK brought to the table, but nades are coming out.
Oh!
Marks though.
Better coordination this time, but KZ is still up there. There's a yokai as well. A bit of disorientation. There's no way Hashom pulls out. Oh, no. I was gonna say he doesn't do it again, right? No, leader's there instead. Key the first to go down on side of GK. JV92 still wounded. Nade swings the breach. He dies to leader. Herds is the only one standing. GK just need a single kill. That's it. Inside of cash. Maybe some utility to be had for the Echo. This will be a waiting game. The Monty's there as well. JV92 bleeds out. It really is all up to Herds in this position, as GK will run on in. They're sure giving ample opportunity, but the show sends us to map 3.
So all about the Monty, the capital, the counter, the double cover player, the Echo as well. Adaptation in the server, live in the moment was beautiful. But GK either had the better prep work or the better adaptation, because they really showed up on attack as well this time.
It took a little bit for them to shake off the nerves in map number 1, but there is no doubt that GK have arrived. A back and forth contest. 7-4 map 1 in favor of W7m, 7-4 in favor of GK on map 2. They win each other's maps. Now you go to a single best of 1 to determine.
Yeah.
Do the reigning champs get knocked out in quarterfinals? Or do we see the first Middle Eastern team make the semis? We got the desk ready to break down map 2.
Parker and Pengu said it best. There's a very real chance that both W7m get knocked out in the quarterfinal, and that Mina not only has a quarterfinalist, but a semifinalist in the same damn major. We're going to map 3. You guys got what you were looking for. Fox, last time these guys played on Clubhouse, GK won. It was a 7-4 scoreline. Now we come back to Clubhouse. It's a 7-4 scoreline. Did that look a lot like the first time they played, or was this a different story?
No, absolutely not. It was very different. A lot of the advantage came from defense, obviously. I loved how GK was playing their defenses. They started off slow the first couple of rounds, forcing W7m to go for the execute. And then in the middle of their defensive half, they started going for those opening picks, getting that advantage. Once they got that aggressive early pick, then they would fall back and again force W7m to go for those executes.
The one thing that I love about GK, even on their defense, and again, I expected W7m to have a good read on GK. For the most part, they did. But I think the one thing they didn't estimate is almost how disrespectful GK are to the map. If you look how Clubhouse plays out 9 times out of 10 exactly the same.
Yeah.
But what GK do is they push the boundaries of that. they stay on the breach a second or two longer. They stay in a position on a roam a second or two longer, and they managed to catch that front three of W7M off. And when the front line was looked, and again they looked disjointed from W7M, GK took full advantage of that, set themselves up on the 4-2. When the sides were swapped, I really liked how GK were kind of using, I'm not going to call it a gimmick, but like they're using the Monty, they use the breach to bait the swing, just to give themselves that man advantage, or give themselves that like position advantage, and then just push on from there.
Absolutely, that was the only, not the only, but that was the main difference between these two parallels, was the attacks. GK was forcing those engagements on the attack. They were bringing the Monty to bait out the roam, and then they would have their aggressive players who the first time that they faced them, the entries were finding the first set of kills. This time around, the entries are the ones waiting. They're waiting for the supports, the Monty, to force a play, force the hand of W7M, and that's when they swooped in and got the picks.
And it's not like this entire game is revolving around Hashelm either. I think you mentioned it before. A lot of people might blame him for the way the map 1 went. He's still at the bottom of the scoreboard in map 2. He's not needing to go nuclear in the same way he did in the Swiss stage because W7M are still winning that way, still playing with Monty, and they're finding a way to make these things work out. So even if he's not top of the scoreboard, I wouldn't be super concerned. What do you guys think?
Yeah, no, it was much more of a team performance from GK as well. Especially, I thought Noodle was excellent. Obviously he topped out the scoreboard. He was excellent at trying to make them make plays on the defense, particularly in the first few rounds when things weren't going too well.
Absolutely, I think GK just had a way better game plan. I think they also figured out how to deal with JV92 on his attacks and on his defenses because he didn't have the best performance on that Clubhouse.
Yeah, that's worth saying actually, is the kind of lopsidedness of how W7M were playing. It was Philippox and Nade that were, at the top of the scoreboard, and the front line from W7M was basically non-existent. They looked very disjointed, which again was another symptom of when they played Clubhouse last against GK. Very similar story.
All right, well, we got to head all the way to map 3. We're going to Oregon straight after this one, so don't go anywhere or grab your popcorn and come straight back because this bad boy is going to end in a heater. We'll see you in a sec.
Hello, I'm Dominique Clément, game designer on Rainbow Six Siege. The next season is right around the corner. And if you don't get the latest operator on release, you might still want to review your ABCs on some of the operators already available today in the game. The Electric Bandit, the x.ke, and the Quiet Mute will be welcoming a new troublemaker into their ranks, ready to give breachers a few headaches. Working out your pulse and soleus muscles will ensure you'll be able to provide invaluable intel to this new operator. And let's not forget about Ella, Fenrir, and our other trap operators who each bring a unique ingredient that can be used in crafting some really crazy strategies with this new operator. So jump into the game and review your basics with these operators, so you'll be ready to synergize with the new operator when it comes out next season. See you then.
Yes, G2 have had a win. They have also had a loss.
Of course, I think G2 is the best team in the world. And now it's up to us to defend that, to prove everyone that we're right.
When I'm in a tournament, I don't care about the nationality of the enemies. I play every game like it's the same game.
Good luck, guys.
There's a lot of up and downs, but with this new MAD roster, I believe we can create something.
Life is just it's a constant growth. It's mostly just kind of knowing yourself and not being afraid to just pick on yourself and get better.
There's nothing better than seeing your top players pop off and your top players perform. That's where the magic really happens.
I think that M8 is one of those teams that we will really struggle against because they understand things the same way we do and they have equally as talented players.
We don't really have a rival. The only rival is ourselves, so as long as we get over that, there's no one in our way.
Hey guys, it's Gio from Sonics, and welcome to my fresh install. For diffuser, I have manual because I play support, so I gotta make sure I have the bomb at all times or I'm able to drop it inside the site. For drone prep, also manual. You also want to sit on your entries drones as long as possible, especially if they're up. HUD, I actually just keep everything the same. Doesn't really change much. Audio, everything on super high. I play night mode, surprisingly. I don't know, a lot of people don't play like that, but I like it. Basically for display, we go to as many hertz as you can. We go to 4.3, but that's all preference. I like 4.384 for me. 4.384, and then at the bottom, I personally do 95 HUD display area, and then 94 menu display area with a brightness of 61, I think it was, some odd number like that. Graphics, I have a pretty bad PC at home, so everything's on super low. We go low, we go LOD quality high, shading quality low, shadow quality, pretty sure that's very high so you can see the shadows when they peek you. Reflection quality low, VFX low, ambient occlusion low, anti-aliasing off. That's basically it for graphics. Make sure you always press apply so you have your settings saved. Control is the important part. I would say raw input off, mouse inversion obviously disabled, then sense is obviously up to you, but I play 1010, 400. You can mess with the magnification obviously. I play with, let me see if it lets me. Thing 1x is 28, 1x 28, 1.5, 55, 56, and then 57. Mouse scroll wheel, I have it off because I grip the mouse kind of weird. Gadget deployment advanced, joint deployment advanced. I think those are really important to have on. Aim on hold, lean actually on hold as well because I lean with my mouse buttons. Sprint, hold, crouch, toggle, prone toggle, and then walk toggle. For the keybinds, I actually have some kind of crazy keybinds. I lean with my mouse buttons. So this would be just set the mouse buttons. And then gadget is Q and E is melee. So that's kind of it. For control is my prone. And then it's basically it. Everything else is kind of default. Just make sure you're leaning with your mouse buttons. And then your gadget is Q and your melee is E. So it's kind of weird, but I mean, it's all preference. Accessibility for optic colors. Yeah, I like the light green with 100 opacity. I'm kind of blind, so I mean, I'm blind and old, so it makes me see better. At least that's what I think, could be placebo, but it's all preference. Everything default and then opacity 100. I tried 50 or lower, but I mean, can't really see, so up to you really. And just make sure you're applying all your settings. Thanks for watching my fresh install and see you guys at the major.
Map 3 between GK and W7m is up on deck, a position that we did not think we'd be finding ourselves in considering how Map 1 shaked out. But now we're heading to Oregon as our decider, and there's been some previous history for these guys on this map, but the question, the almighty question, is just, do Geekay actually have a chance to knock off the current major champions?
Oh, absolutely they have a chance. I mean, you know, I've been predicting against them time and time again, against BDS, against W7m twice, against Wolves. This is the best they've looked. I think they definitely have a chance on this third map.
All right, Jack. I mean, they look really good, but is that just, they won the crowd over, they finally got something to go their way? Is there something legitimate to this GK team?
Yes, I think there is. I think it's their internal confidence. Nothing is phasing them. I said it, they're not, it's not a disrespect, but they're not showing too much respect to any player, any team. They're just here to play their game, and their confident game makes Rainbow Six look really easy.
Let's talk about Oregon specifically. A lot of people call it Borgen. I think this one's going to be pretty darn good because this is not the first time that we've seen GK play this one. They played it twice over the past, couple of days, but they're not perfect on it, which makes me wonder how far we're going to go.
They've lost it once, but they have won it the second time they went around. They figured out their issues against Wolves. They were able to excel on the attack, and like we talked about before, this theme for the common game has just been about the attacks. W7m don't look like they necessarily have a strat. It looks like they're trying to avoid fighting and go for those late round executes. Whereas GK is all about getting that early aggression, getting that early pick.
And that's the big thing is the attacks. Both of these teams at this tournament, 33% attack win rate onto Oregon. Hard map to attack onto, I get it. Both of them are above 70% defense win rates. So who's going to win this map? Essentially, whoever wins their attacks better. GK will start on their attacks, and I want to see more Monty. I want to see more gimmicky plays to enable a 5v4 from them. And from W7m, I want to see that front three working with so much more coordination than we've seen so far today.
Absolutely. Getting those picks on Oregon is a difficult task in itself. But the best way to do that is bringing the Monty, bringing the Ying, bringing these gimmicky ops that can get you that foot through the map.
All right, last map of the series. Gentlemen, prediction time. Fresh, W7m or GK?
W7m have the quality. They are the established favorite, and they've got this experience in this kind of arena where it's one map takes all. I'm just giving it to them.
Fox?
We just said it. The first time they played W7m, we said no. Against BDS, we said no. Against Wolves, we said no. Even at the start of this game, we both said, no, absolutely not. I'm changing around. I'm saying, fuck yes, they are.
Might be the only time we get to hear you say that, but I think the crowd agrees with Fox Day right now, don't we? We think it's a GK series? I said, do we think it's a GK series, Atlanta? We'll see if you get your wish granted or your heart's broken. Parker and Pengu, have fun with this one.
Absolutely will. Thank you so much, Jacob, and thank you to the desk. Now, on the way back to the stage, I got to speak with GK, and they said, and I quote, "We're not super confident with our attacks on Oregon. If we can win at least 2 of our attacks, we're gonna win the map." So that's what the stage is set for. 2 rounds, that's their win condition. You had 3 rounds when we looked at Clubhouse as their win condition. For W7m, it's hold GK at bay. You heard the desk talk about it. This is a very defender-sided map. GK, they're not gonna have any opportunity to find their footing. They're getting thrown right into attack.
Let me ask you a follow-up question since you spoke to them. Did they seem chill backstage?
They seem very chill.
Yeah, right? I walked by them and I was like, this is kind of scary.
If I was to make a playlist, a royalty-free playlist out of them, Nick, they would be the Chill Vibes playlist. Yeah,
good one.
That's what I would say.
Well, in that case, I start slowly fearing for W7m because it's not gonna be all that easy, is it?
That was a question for the crowd, wasn't it? And they weren't listening.
No, I was reading chat as well, just threw it out there, but yeah.
Well, it's time for our final map between them. Does GK prevail? Does W7m hold the challengers at bay? Oregon is ready.
There it is.
Well, it was we thought it was ready.
So, you guys didn't see it in in-game chat, but I saw it, so... There was some banter between these 2 teams in the lobby before we started, where W7m, they went like, oh, we are like 6x top 8 in the world. And GK said, but you are 2x lost Clubhouse to Geekay, though. That's true. I mean, yeah, they've done well many times before, but I'm used to this. Okay.
Herd said it's your first time in playoffs, bro. And yeah,
it is.
They're correct. But you want to lose to a team who's in the playoffs for the first time?
As the reigning major champions? I don't think so. Not at all. And what a place to go for the final map in this first best of 3 series. Oregon, a map that really speaks to playing like not perfect Siege because it can be very chaotic, but playing off one another, playing for those trades, the duels, trying to go for a quick 3, 2, 1 countdown into the beautiful executes. It's gonna test teams' communication more than anything else. And you said it, Parker, GK, they just won 2 attacking rounds, and then they believe that's all that is required. They start the attack. They can build that up over time. Basement, no surprise here. No matter what team you are against whatever team on the other side, you will always start basement on Oregon. It's one of the strongest, most favorable defensive bomb sites of any map in current Rainbow Six Siege, if not ever, maybe even. And thankfully for attackers, though, you got the attacker repick. You're gonna go through the motions. What do we see? what do we want? What do we like? Well, they see the intel again, that Valkyrie. So they go from Blitz onto IQ, but they also see that there's a basement bomb site, and they got a Warden. So they don't want the capital smokes, but they still want some sort of utility to peel people off corners or to figure out where they are. So they go from capital onto Grim instead. So very clearly, they see 2 specific defenders, they change 2 specific attackers as a response to that.
Well, you need a better performance from JV, Herds, and KZ on this map. All 3 players playing well below their own expectations and our expectations of them on Clubhouse. Were it not for Philippox and Nade, the team would have been completely obliterated by GK. Need a full team effort. Herds successful immediately. Nitro Cell goes out, Key dies. Goodbye to Hibana and goodbye to your only hard breacher with a small little asterisk.
You have the Grim, the can openers, but that's only going to ensure you 2 out of 3 hatches if they've all been reinforced. But honestly, you don't necessarily need every single hatch opened even if they were, because Oregon basement comes down to you choosing. Do we go for a front side execute, freezer and laundry stairs, or are you gonna go for that backside take instead, meeting hatch drop, tower stairs, and blue double door? But one hatch is left soft by W7m, despite them having 2 spare reinforcements still remaining. So that means that even with Key dead on Hibana, they can still get everything opened up. They just cannot open up this Philippox position on the Warden. We call it Shaiko spot in Europe. So they can't open it up because Hibana is dead, but the rest can be dealt with.
Half of the round now burned through as W7m have fallen off of this main floor. Seeding map control to GK. Trix got in the building quite quickly. He's laying by blue stairs, watching Pillar. Turtle setup now from W7m on defense. Freezer control in the hands of GK. Trix still in this spot. He will engage with Herds down below before taking some damage and falling away towards meeting.
Yeah, this is the thing. Where you're going to be striking from, you're kind of feeling out, okay, there's 2 people Pillar, maybe go for front take instead. And so the Grim Visa coming out, has shown the grenades on the Fink as well, laying on the floor, waiting for a swing. But W7m, they aren't giving them any openings right now. They're playing very far back and very relaxed on the side itself.
Nade tossed in, look at where Noodle is. He can strike from inside a laundry. Trix on the ground, spotted by Herds, and dealt with quite handily. The bees pinging away at these players from W7m. Keep is still in pocket, 40 seconds remaining. Fire going out as KZ looks for a kill towards laundry.
The thing is, with 30 seconds left and attackers being forced out of the bomb, that's still 2 freezer, 1 bottom laundry. It's gonna be ugly and it's gonna get messy, and you gotta hope for GK they can hit their shots because they got 4 members with a double crossfire locking them down.
KZ is still inside a freezer, timer running out. Herds taking everybody hostage, KZ and JV with picks as well. And it's a flawless start to Oregon for W7m.
When you attack on pretty much any map in Siege, you're never gonna go, you know what, we can lose that round, that's okay. But this is one of those few instances where you absolutely can say that. You're attacking basement Oregon with a Ying ban against you, you can absolutely say, you know what guys, we're not supposed to win this one. We can lose it, it's fine. The only thing is, you don't want to lose flawlessly, get no kills, get the vibes up, find your footing, get some confidence by taking down a couple of members, but losing basement is the expected outcome. It really comes down to the tertiary and the secondary bomb site defenses, where can you win upstairs? Can you win on the tertiary bomb site in like meeting or kitchen, for example? And things were relatively close. Hertz swung out, Wade has shot him holding down the angle, but right when the swing came out the corner, he went for the grenade cook instead. That could have been 1 kill, for example. Maybe that can snowball somewhere. So the real question is not how the first round plays out, but this current round and the one to follow shortly after. And GK, they see the site, they go on armor room, quick in the building, perhaps big tower window, establish a map control, and see what they want to strike from, because they only have 1 primary hard breacher, but the armor room of Trix does have the can opener. They can go for a multi-sided push here, taking both master bedroom control, for example, and big tower attic afterwards.
There's something also to be said about the rotation on this map, right? If GK's win condition is to take 2 rounds on attack, if they're not able to do that, they go into the second half knowing that they have the superior side, but mentally they need to stay in it. Now, we touched on this before we got into the match, that they seem to be relatively relaxed for what they're staring down, Which time and time again, it seems like the teams that come in with nothing to lose tend to be among the scariest to play. But you're kidding yourself if you don't think the pressure will get to them. It absolutely will as we go deeper into Oregon.
Oh, and it should. I mean, it's a matter of respect. And a C4 in the first round, C4 in the second round as well. This time, well, again, I guess I should say Noodle falls outside the building, actually. That's a bit of a read there from W7m. I mean, not sure how they get that kill, but they do.
Leader now watching as the Selmas open up that closet wall. Bullet will go in front of Herds. Nade goes in as well. Herds doesn't move a muscle. Doesn't take any damage from that either as he pulls out sidearm of the SMG-12, and now it's time to go as he gets droned. Make that information no longer relevant. Now it's Key taking some damage. Felipox falling all the way back towards the bottom of Blue Tower stairs.
A lack of IQ here with a triple swing.
Oh! Leader gets one before being dragged down by JV92. Uh-oh. Small advantage for W7m. Felipox giving his position away. Still in back tower. Nade trading some HP for a kill onto Asham. Trix doing the same onto Nade. Key, last man standing with case in hand, miles away from the rest of his team. He sees the Warden. Herds looks in the wrong direction. This is far more winnable than it might seem. Key's got his hands full. Over towards Attic, and Felipox doesn't move a muscle. 2-0 for W7m.
It's very much a case of finding your footing in these rounds and in these maps for a team like GK, where once you figure out the pace of things, when to take the step left, when to take the step right, what to expect from your opponents, that's when things go in their favor. Right now, they've not found it yet. Hertz asked in chat, "Are you nervous, Noodle?" Noodle said, "Not at all, brother." He's taking his time. He's 0-2 right now, not really on fire, but this is the thing about Oregon. Unlike Clubhouse, unlike Bank, you have no really quick, easy, simple way into the bomb site, into the map. You're always going to be, mostly it's going to be known where you're going to be attacking from, and you're going to funnel through a single door or a single breach, so it's more obvious gunfights, if you will, that can be expected from W7m, and not getting caught off by surprise as much. The Valkyrie, a big issue, no IQ in the first two rounds being played, and those yellow pings gave so much critical intel for the defenders to go for flanks and to go for C4 plays.
Tertiary bomb site now on the board. The meeting kitchen site will be played by W7m in round number 3. Theory crafting with that tertiary bomb site. Kitchen is a part of both of the other two sites. The other one could be over in that cafeteria, mess hall component of Oregon. What do you think leads W7m to choosing meeting?
I mean, the only thing I would say off the rip is GK don't tend to play a lot of shield operators, right? They don't really play. They played Monty twice or Catwalk specifically on Clubhouse, but that was it. They don't play OSA a whole lot either. So you can play this meeting bomb site not expecting shield operators, because that's typically what you do to counter it. It also gives you a bit more mobility to work with. You can play big tower, you can play inside an attic, you can play inside a kitchen, you can play upstairs in Kid Storms. So you're spread out pretty like wide across the map if you're defending, and you're giving your opponents a big decision. Where do you have to attack from? Where are the openings? So we see this drone work right now from GK. It started. They get some red pings. They're going to try and peel off this top floor portion of Kid Storm's Rappel, looking for a free pick perhaps, but there aren't any free kills right here to be found.
Waiting for information on what to do with that dorms portion of the map.
The attacker's bomb diffuser.
Shom struggling early on. This is the same circumstance he found on the Spinka operator back in map number 1. It took him 7 rounds to get his first pick. You best hope that this doesn't happen, because if GK are not the most confident on their attack, a 6-0 first half from W7m is very much a possibility. Losing leader is not the start that you want for GK, as now Noodle follows up. Top of white stairs. Herd still taking full advantage of this. KZ on the board as well. Dropped as there's an adrenal surge to give Trixton Asham a bit more HP, as now Nades sail on in. Will that bounce and kill KZ? No, it won't. He's still alive.
Impressive. I mean, that could be not round defining, but it sure sucks. But the ram drone, the boogie drone, it did a bit of damage. It didn't get the kill.
Sails on in, and look at KZ cannot make it through, I don't believe. A rush in from Trixt is greeted by Nade. They started off with a flawless round. W7m looking to do the exact same. Sham waiting now, 45 seconds left. Softening up Herds, KZ will bleed out before the timer can end. No flawless round to be had. But JV92 makes the win official. A 1v4 is a hell of a predicament to find yourself in, especially on Oregon. 3-0 for W7M. They're off to a hot start.
This is a tough position to find yourself in. Bang doesn't go away for GK. You go down, 0-6. And then you always make the comeback happen, but you lose the map. Then on Clubhouse, it's a different story. They find that momentum relatively early on. They lose the first 2, but they win the following 6 rounds back to back all the way. So it's all about, again, finding their footing. What's the kind of speed that we gotta go at? What is the right pace? And they have not found it in the first 2 rounds. And they didn't find it in that third either. And this is the troublesome position. A perfect bomb site rotation from W7M. And if GK want that 2-4 half rather, they gotta win 2 of the following 3 rounds. And one of those is gonna be so difficult because it's gonna be on the basement bomb site. Most likely the one we're gonna see after this GK timeout. But calling it when you're down 0-3, knowing you gotta get some attacking rounds, I think is very, very good for them. They say, guys, we realize that we can't just win on defense. We gotta get some rounds on the board right now.
It's hard. I mean, if you've got the analyst of GK openly saying we're not terrifically confident when it comes to our attacks on Oregon, that candidness is really nice, but usually you're a lot more closed off with your real opinions. Usually you say, we could be better. But instead being like, man, we got to win 2 rounds and then we can win the whole thing. At least it speaks to confidence on the second half for GK.
That is true.
From a fan perspective, I will say all I hope is that we get a competitive third map. Few things worse than seeing 2 teams beat the ever-living stuffing out of each other in maps 1 and 2, and then map number 3 is just a lopsided snooze fest.
That's very true. I saw from the talent group chat that Des, the caster, he heard the backstage from GK saying, should we give them the mirror? Should we leave it open? Well, they have right now, and they got the blitz. They got the dog with the line. This could be a fast one. GK have not made this kind of rush before this early in a round in any map in the best of 3 so far. It could catch them by surprise if they choose to go for it, but it's a high risk and a high reward scenario here.
First set of logic bombs, and there's the Gone 6 as Noodle is off to the races. Nade might have missed that as Noodle is taking some serious damage. EE1D tagging out these players before a gas canister will go towards Elbow. Noodle's advance has been stopped, and now the fires and the gas next to him will cause some problems. Leader gets on the board first. A good opening pick from GK. They lose as Sham down in meeting. Herds and KZ now doubling up as there goes the blitz.
Yeah, losing the finger on the room is not ideal. And Blitz is down for the count too, so they can't get back into Elbow, back into Blue. They're locked outside again, so the initial push worked out, but the follow-up wasn't there. There wasn't support, it wasn't successful. And now, adaptation on the fly. What's your next move? Trix got big cow tower control. That's all they have to work with. Okay, Leader's on freeze the stairs somehow, but they don't know where the roamers are, but then no KC's upstairs.
You ever look at something and wonder how it got there?
I wondered that with Leader there.
Yeah,
I did.
there you go.
How did he do that?
Very spread out now at the moment. As GK will tackle this map. It's almost as if they were 3 independent players, not a unit themselves. Leader works his way down Freezer stairs, and Trix will try to link up with him. There's another E1D to go. The final one used by the Lion is now Key. Sees the lesion of KZ, but seems quite surprised by that. Leader from Freezer stairs now over towards lobby. Back up towards Armory stairs, where KZ roams. Trix in a similar spot. The 2 remaining players from GK will work together down through Freezer.
They're rushing it down. I mean, they know that the roamer is collapsing behind them, so they just gotta full send it here.
And the mirror's there. The Vector will chew through 1 and 2. 4-0 now from W7M.
Again, that perfect bomb site rotation going 3-0 up in the first half of the first half is really the dire moment here, because you're almost guaranteed the first 4, because again, basement bomb site opens up. They go for the rush and the push, but they don't get the round victory that they wanted, but they gotta find at least 1, preferably the next 2 rounds. You said they were confident in their defense, Parker, but If you go down 1-5-0-6, that's not confidence, that's cockiness.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers just really don't help you in the slightest. You have to win at least 2 rounds on your bad side. I do appreciate that they went for the rush, but...
yeah.
Some serious disappointment.
I was gonna say, it's like, it could have been so much greater. What an incredible rush it could have been, but it wasn't. I know, me too, man.
5 seconds
But
left
if you try the slow pace the first 3 times, then you go quick in your 4th down, none of it works. It does leave you thinking as a player, doubting a little bit, guys, what are we actually doing wrong? Because if you try both sides of the coin and there's not a positive outcome, how are we gonna find any round victory success here? It's hard to analyze with GK right now what exactly has to be changed. I mean, we can say scoreboard-wise, Noodles yet to get a kill, Hasham is yet to get a kill, the injuries aren't going their way, they're not getting trades, but how do they solve it? What do they have to change to do that? Communication, most likely, saying, guys, squad up over here, play together, we found this player, isolate him, grenade him from below, something. They get armor control, so that's done for now, but now comes the gunfights.
And Noodles feeling this, but no money in the world could buy him a kill at the moment.
Impact out.
His leader's next in line for Herds, who's turned things around from that second map. Hasham breaks his streak in the better way. And picks up another for his trouble as KZ is no more down below the advantage. Swinging in favor of GK with those 2 quick picks.
Hasham has only one kind of speed. It's either not moving at all or just going really, really quickly. Either getting 0 kills or always getting multiple. And JV tries a flank but gets shut down immediately. He stays alive, takes a fair bit of damage as he runs back to Big Tower.
15 kills are off the board for W7M with Herds and KZ dead. 6 kills to be had between the 3 remaining players. 1 shy of the total kills for GK as an entire team. Fellapox will get droned out in between a rock and a hard place, but he manages to survive with life intact. A swing from leader, met by JB92, bites off a bit more than he can chew. Trixta's next up, Fellapox 4-1. Nade gets his own, and now it's Nade versus Hasham in a 1v1.
Oh, play it slowly, got a minute to work with. They need this round so badly for GK, and it's all on Hasham's shoulders to find this final kill onto Nade inside a master bedroom.
You can tell who the crowd favors as Hasham gets a window into the positioning of Nade. If he wants to, Nade has the rotate. He can go for that. Hasham does not have the diffuser, so Nade will need to survive for the final 35 seconds. Out goes the drone, and Nade wins it on the swing.
That's disgusting, frankly.
GK still held off of the score sheet. W7M looking indomitable as they're up 5-0.
Again, it was Hasham on Clubhouse in a 1v2. There's Hasham here, down 0-4 to get their first round in a 1v1. Both times falling a little bit short. And now, W7M in in-game chat, they're not asking questions. They're not asking, are you nervous? They're stating, you are nervous, Noodle. The things have changed. Despite the early success of a comeback in that round from Hasham getting 3 kills, it did not go to a round victory. So now they're playing on the back end. They wanted to on attack. At most, they're gonna get a single. It's tertiary attack. This is where you should be winning on the attacking side. This should be statistically and realistically the easiest round of the 3 that you're playing. But it didn't go their way when they attacked Meeting and Kitchen. Maybe this will play out better for GK because the bomb side is different this time. It is kitchen and dining, if you will. So Big Tower not as important, but that upstairs hold could still be lethal. And W7M are setting up shop there with the ADSs, the mirror windows, the mute jammers. They want to hold on to that ground.
This map looks very similar to what we saw in Bank, right? I mean, they're droning out these W7M players. They have information, and they're still getting swung on. And this looks very reminiscent of what W7M did many years ago when they broke onto the scene, right? They basically patented that super aggressive defense.
Yeah.
And round by round, GK know where W7M happened to be. They drone them out. They use utility, and they still lose the duel time and time again. When you get to this point in a major, it's not because there is a big gulf in skill between you. It's just W7m aren't that good. And it's nice to see them back in form, even if it is not the result that some of the people at home and the people here in Atlanta want.
You can see how much respect that W7m are paying us on the server. They're not taking massive risks. They're not making any stupid plays or disrespectful plays. They're playing a solid game of Siege, but it's Key this time. Finally getting opening kill for his side, but it's Nate off the board. He's only 4-2. He's not that final raid boss like Hertz with 11 kills to his name, so they're gonna need more. And more importantly, Noodle has to find the scoreboard.
Shome is perfectly lined up for Herds, who might have picked the wrong place to go, losing his ADS, and will now be run over. As Noodle trades with Herds, he gets on the board, but only a single kill in the first half for Noodle.
What an incredible shot, and such a valuable trade, but it keeps going. The Roamers did not fall back, they stuck around for too long, and now it's a 4v2 in favor of GK.
Shome hitting the Adrenal Surge. Won't do much to help Leader. It's JV92 softening up Hashome. He's the last one left. He knows that someone's over there. Get his attention. Nicely played by JV92 to control the recoil and punish Hashome from that spot. Diffuser in the hands of Trixt, as he and Key can commandeer the bomb site, get the diffuser down. Key for covering support, but there's the shotgun from above. Super Shorty out of munitions. JV92 has to go back to the SMG. They've got drones or intel up there. Diffuser goes down. JV drone. Key gives GK their first round.
I can't believe he went for the reload there. I mean, he was out of bullets, but still pre-fire on the floor instead of simply waiting for the headshot. Made that way too close for comfort, and they get that super valuable, very important one attacking round where they're allowed a mistake on defense, but only one mistake. They can only toss one round before match point.
Unspecified gamer juice being drank on stage.
It's a nice opening kill from Key.
Yep.
Holding angles, and this time around actually is W7m aggressing into angles being held more often than not, leading to their fall. That shot didn't do any damage. Very surprising about that. Finnerbox must have whiffed it there. Oh boy. That could have been bad.
It's always faster to pull out your sidearm than to reload.
True and real.
So, first half in the books. And it has been about as lopsided as the score at the top of your screen would suggest. GK only getting first blood in a single round. That was the one that just finished, which is the only round that they prevailed in.
To locate a bomb and defuse it.
Pretty good round by most metrics. I mean, it came on a bomb site that had not been played up to this point. And not even a tertiary bomb site. I don't know what you'd want to call it, dining. But ultimately, W7m, one flawless round, 2 rounds very close to being won flawlessly. Objective play, ineffective. And now it's W7m to be very quick to the punch. Herds getting some breathing room in this round, 30 seconds in. Noodle sitting at 1-7 in an absolutely critical matchup. Devastating start for GK.
Imagine being the IGL, the in-game leader for your team, and you say, give me Nuke, I will entry, I will get my 13th kill in 7 rounds to start things off, and just peel off again. Buy that early advantage, obtain it, secure it, lock it down, and play this round in that 5 versus 2 favorable spot. What they want now for W7m, they want to find the rest of the roamers. They see one on Freezer stairs, that ripping coming out, but Key instead of Amory, so far, has gone unnoticed. If he has the right timing and the right read on things, he might shut down Herds inside of lobby.
Oh, and Herds will now go hunting! Some struggles on to Leader, who's got all those Kiba barriers in back pocket. He's got the nade, and it drops. Key will have to reposition. There's an Adrenal Surge to get him back up. It does no use, though. As now the shotgun is out for Key, still fishing for a kill. He'll get it on the hatch. So long, KZ. Key still in this spot. Doing double duty, losing some of the wall. The safety inside a garage. will be no more. As 2 players from W7M get the job done.
Valiant effort, finding 2 picks, Finger and the Nerf. No grenades left and valuable gadgetry as well. A minute to go, he's actually set his team up for a favorable 3-3. They got the mirror windows, they got a C4, they got 3 keeper barriers in pocket as well. They can reshape this bomb site and keep those crucial spots alive because Leader didn't die early in the round in the freezer staircase roam. So, with W7M, they have 1 win condition. Philipox on the capital. The 2 smokes and the 2 fires is the only real way they can find or create an opening for themselves that doesn't rely on GK making a mistake themselves.
GK expecting this blue push now with only 30 seconds left on the clock. Trickst throwing out the Nitro Cell, collapsed upon. Puzzling engagement he walks away from successfully. Leader lost by B. Bomb, another will fall. Nade perfect inside of the site, looking for a third. Hashom will reveal himself to Philipox. W7M on to match point.
They couldn't afford it. I mean, if you only get 1 attacking round and you lose literally the first defense as well, you put yourself in an impossible situation to win. GK did 5 in a row. They were in this similar spot on bank. They couldn't get it done. 7-4 is the final scoreline. They need more than that. They need to go 6-6. They need to be flawless. And they gotta do it with a perfect bomb site rotation, basement, upstairs and kid storms, tertiary, back to basement, and then another tertiary or a kid storm. And that's just to go to overtime. They play that key mate, getting those 2 kills. They're gonna need a lot more plays like that to have any chance at this.
I mean, you can be confident in your defense, but if that's the result, I don't know where that confidence is placed. Do or die for GK. No timeout remaining. No way to settle themselves down, but they've shown time and time again through every single phase of this major that you cannot count them out. Opponents have, they went home. GK continued on. But now, you go up against the reigning and defending major champions, the team that finished 2nd at the 6 Invitational, a couple maps away from being world champions.
Oh, they're rushing
and
it.
this might be a quick end for KZ and Philipox, that is. Trick's Nitro Cell completely blows up any chance of W7M pouncing upon the unsuspecting defenders.
They're not done, they want more. Hurts is found, somehow just made his way in.
Wait! How is this round?
They should know. I mean, yeah, the 2 members started C4, but surely it's not just 2 people rushing the bomb side. There's gotta be a follow-up. And Hurts on 15 kills now. Again, leading his team forward, putting himself 3v3. We can make this work. We can still win this and go 7-1. That's where they want to be. That's what we're gonna try and do.
Nitro Cell! Hurts dies to Noodle. It was read by W7M, but could not be course corrected as Nade missed the opportunity out of the Nitro Cell. Now to follow up onto the man who threw it himself. Hasham taking out JB92. Nade dies. There's still hope for GK.
There's always hope. But underestimation is not going to come here again from W7M. They are also starting to play a little bit with that disrespect. When they say, you know what, we've got such a big lead in rounds, we can go for a rush. We can go off pace. We can take these massive risks now. And W7 did actually make a relatively big mistake in that previous round. The Lion scan came out before the Gun 6, alerting the defenders of a very possible rush. And we saw KC sprinting into the barricade for a solid second before the door was opened. Hurts, yeah, he found that double to follow up, but they can take elbow, they can push to the side. They didn't have the blitz, didn't play that operator in that specific round rather. So the push stopped, didn't go any further. But the bomb side has to be flawless here. Downstairs success, sure. Upstairs it's going to be even more difficult. And W7 currently, this could change. They're hovering a blitz, they're hovering a glass, capital, a quick block. This is what we call a spicy round of Rainbow Six Siege that very well could be over very swiftly once the drone phase ends. The question is, what's the take gonna be? Typically, if they stick this lineup, we're expecting a big window, wide stairs push, try and get that bomb down on the reinforced wall between the 2 bomb sites and play that post plant from outside the big window on top of the small tower roof. That's usually the play that W7 would make here in this position, but that's also readable. If we expect it, GK might as well. So they could change things around if they so please.
I love this. W7m are trying to go out in style.
They are.
Oh, Sham's hand was almost spotted from the door. This is a gutsy play. Not the glass, though. Well, there's a lot of gutsy plays, actually.
There is, yeah.
Helmet. Is it the blitz? Is it the glass? Is it Hasham prone on Armory stairs? You be the judge of that.
So the blitz has diffuser. Gonna go up the wide staircase. Smoke goes out, fire goes out, glass covers the cross. But Philbox has to get in to get that diffuser pendant down first.
And there he is. He's off to the races, running on in. And with 2 minutes left, Bellapox will attempt the defuse.
They don't know.
JV92 goes down. Key trapped in this position. Nade finishing him off. All hell breaks loose. As now Bellapox throws out another smoke. Herds dies to Noodle. So far, GK coming out ahead in the post plant. The blitz tussling with Trixt. Bellapox on the ground, can't make his way through. It's total calamity, total mayhem inside of the server. But the time will continue to favor W7m. Leader hops on the diffuser to the middle. Can they solve it in time? The smoke stops. They're killing themselves. And GK hangs on by a thread.
The Cuba barrier blocked the Capital Fire post plant to stop them from going for the counter defuse. So GK steal the round. I mean, they're laughing because they know how crazy that was. Phenomenal round from both teams. The post plant, not on that reinforcement, couldn't be seen from outside the window, so they gotta go to different methods, but that's what the Capital was picked for. That was the post plant round victory. But one simple Kiva barrier changed the entire outcome of that round. And GK, they win 2 in a row, but they gotta keep staying flawless. A leader, massive opening close well to cut that rotation in half. Beautiful utility usage.
The Kiva barrier single-handedly saving that post plant.
Yeah, it did.
Because the Capitao fire arrow would hit the wall, the fire would spread, it would have killed Leader with absolute certainty. Not that somebody else from GK couldn't have assumed that position, but it allowed Leader to hang on. Tough part now for GK is this tertiary bomb site. Meeting in kitchen.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
Balance is restored. No dining defense.
So, when we spoke about why W7m they might have gone to this like meeting bombs instead of the dining bomb site, was because GK are not expected to play Monty or Osa a whole lot. The thing is, W7m they do like playing those exact operators, and it's why Nate is playing Monty right now. They can go lobby, breach the wall, go for the plant, or go big tower, breach the wall, and go for the plant as well. It is going to be a plant-oriented push, a plant-oriented round, most likely, because it's what the it's what the Nomad wants to achieve, and then Monty wants to achieve as those kind of utility, semi-support operators. And GK, they don't have a lot of answers. They got one C4, and they got smokes from Key. Outside of that, no ways to deal with the Monty besides crossfires.
Slow round. At this point in the previous round, the diffuser would have already been planted.
Yeah, it was. Like 202 or something like that. C4 goes wide. Now even less things to use against the Monty, and Hasham in the basement taking so much damage.
Droned out, trying to punish KZ. So one logic bomb's already been used. All the air jabs planted by JV92 as well. Whatever flank route you might have in mind as GK will be tougher to pull off.
He just plant.
Nade's got a freebie right now. There goes the toxic canister. Damage is done. There's a bit of a concussive blast over by flag or split, depending on how you call it. A rare Ella sighting on Oregon. Used to be far more common on that pillar position. The smoke now being threatened as Nade walks in. You're kidding me, Key. And he pulls off another double duty. That's enough. Buried inside a meeting. KZ giving W7m a chance. Will now grab the cams as it's a 3v3 with a minute to go. Down goes Leader. Oh, GK, you've got some troubling prospects. The blinded Herds dies down. Trixt will need to win this. He's in a 1v1 against JV. JV with Diffuser now going for the plant. Tricks to rotate around. He has to run out of the way, and he does so remarkably well. A game of cat and mouse. JV will attempt it again. In a safe position. Tricks closing in. He hears the no. Oh! But JV92 will break the hearts of a whole region. They are the kings for a reason. W7m, the defending major champions, win 2-1.
What a heartbreaking way to go out. The 1v1's always favoring W7m. Shotgun close range looks so doable, but it wasn't. What a series, though.
What a series, and one of the wildest best of threes we have seen in ages. If you came in as a neutral fan, you were treated to a match of a lifetime. History was made when GK qualified for main stage. Quarterfinals are the best they will get. W7m might be your winners, but give a round of applause for GK.
Massive moment for their team coming here, as you said, making it to the quarterfinals, but also this performance, taking a map again off W7m, looking great in so many rounds. They blew everyone's expectations out of the water, playing with a substitute player and leader as well. This is not something that we see ever.
No, I mean, given the circumstances, there are worse results that could have been had by GK, but they gave us a run for the ages.
They did. And what's next? You know, you go back to MENA, you practice, and you come back again, hopefully in the future as well, and then you show up even stronger, hopefully then in full force.
Well, we've got an interview ready with the winners, the lovely, the charming, the beautiful Felipox and Ian Chambers.
I knew that was coming back. I knew it was coming. Felipox, what an incredible victory. You know, you've picked up where you left off in Copenhagen, but that wasn't easy. GK put up one hell of a fight.
Yeah, like I said in the pre-game, they're a pretty good team. Like, they are not here for no reason. Like, they are playing really good Siege. It's hard to counter sometimes, to read what they are doing. So yeah, but we could close the match, thankfully.
Yeah, and it seems like they actually have your number on Clubhouse, right? They've had you twice there now.
Yeah, we picked Clubhouse again. We thought that now we will have them. We did some counters and stuff like that, but they had our number, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Look, you are another step closer to potentially making history. Back-to-back major champions. Is that something that's in your mind here? Are you taking this series by series, or do you have, etching the name in the history books here playing on your mind?
Yeah, of course, like before the championship, we thought about that, but it's not something that we're thinking right now. We are taking like game after game. Because I think it can affect us like negatively if we think like that. So yeah, just taking game by game.
Absolutely. Listen, the semi-final on the horizon could be BDS or G2. If it's G2, that's a rematch of the SI Grand Final, right? Is that something that you'd want to get revenge?
Yeah, I said in many interviews I want to face G2. Just before the tournament, like I want to face G2 because they are a great team. And I always like to play great teams, and I never played them. I've never played them. So, yeah, and I want to get revenge for my friends for the SI final, yeah.
GK, let's just tip our hat to them one more time. How well did they perform here to get to this point and put MENA on the map?
Yeah, they deserve the claps because no one knew them, and now they were in the quarterfinals of a major, so that's exceptional. And yeah, they deserve everything.
They do, and you guys thoroughly deserve your spot in the semi-final. Congratulations. I'll go let you join the rest of your teammate. Just really quickly, Atlanta, we're having a good Friday, right? This is nice. Man, I love this NA crowd. All right, Jacob, over to you on the desk.
The edge to Mike Christian. Thank you very much, Mr. Chambers. That is it for GK Esports in this tournament. It's not to say that's the end of GK for the rest of time, but W7m proving why juggernauts are juggernauts. And even if you let one map slip for some reason or another, it's still going to be the favorite team winning 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, I hated that. I was right, Jacob. I absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
But they just had enough. And I think W7m, we called it. It was whoever was going to come down and get their attacks on point. as much as GK have had a great run, and they have had a great run, a 1-5 attack half on map 3 on the main stage is just not going to be good enough when you're against the defending champions.
No, absolutely. Especially, GK felt like they had everything in their favor. They had the crowd behind them. They had the map that they've been slowly getting better at throughout the tournament, but they did not have the attacks. And I'm sure before Invite, they'll put a lot more work into those attacks. Still a proud position to be in to just make it to the quarterfinals.
Well, let's throw it back one more time for an exit interview. Can we get one more clap for Noodle, please, with Ian Chambers?
It's a sound that you guys were used to up there, right? Were you expecting this level of love and support from this NA crowd?
Not really, to be honest. I thought everyone would root for the W7m, but we're very thankful for your guys' support.
Atlanta, we love GK, right? Listen, you guys need to be tremendously proud of the run that you put together. You know, first time ever in the history books, men are making it to an R6 main stage. What do you think happened up there? W7m, of course, we've got such great history now and are a very strong team. Was it experience that got the win there, do you think?
I think it's just slow attacks, like just slow start for us was just always like killing us. And yeah, definitely the inexperience showed here, to be honest.
What's next? How do you recover from this loss and what's the future look like for GK?
I think we can definitely keep our heads high. We, took the previous champions all the way to 3 maps, and we're going to prepare for Sao Paulo and hopefully bring another good show.
You think Sao Paulo, you could shock the world again, right?
Hopefully, yeah.
Absolutely. Noodle and GK, one more round of applause for this amazing team. History. Hey, come over here, guys. One more time for this amazing team. History makers, I'm surrounded by them all. They exit the tournament here, but this is not the last we see of GK. Jacob, back to you on the desk.
It's with a heavy heart that we have to let GK go, but the good news is they're going to the 6th Invitational in Sao Paulo, so we will be seeing them again in just 3 short months. The only question is, do they stick with Leader, the guy that got them the majority of the way here? Do they go back with Seriously? There's a lot of questions to answer surrounding GK, but it's good that they had the crowd behind them, they got an experience, they got a map off the current major champions. There's a lot of really good things that you can take away from this GK team.
A lot of the success really came off the back of Leader 2. He's put himself in a great position to potentially go to another team the rest of the stage, or to just keep him throughout Invite.
Yeah. And I think, Noodle talked about the relative lack of inexperience there. If you think this is all very good preparation for 6 Invitational, every team wants 6 Invitational. That's the ultimate end goal. So the fact GK qualified for it was their first goal, but now they've had a lot of match fitness, a lot of match practice, and main stage experience against the top team. So that all bodes very good signs for them going to their very first 6 Invitational.
Yeah, I mean, where they fell short was just their attacks, and I think that was the common theme throughout every single map, especially the trade issue that followed on Bank. It also followed them to this map. Here's a nice little
what a play this was.
Oh my god.
Obviously they have the gun skill. Their utility usage was correct, but on attack, like Noodle said, they were just very slow. And I think that's when W7m knew they could have them. They were really baiting them, and the whole game they were pretty much baiting GK to get into these positions and then attacking right before the execute came. So GK never had a chance to execute.
I actually fought for both of these teams with the way that they play and how split they like to be, particularly on their own attacks. It is always great when it looks very good, but they kind of clashed. It was like 2 teams that very well countered each other because they both play a very similar style. And I think that's why we saw Defense have so much fun across the whole of today.
You think W7m consider themselves lucky at all? The fact that they managed to not only get GK, but they managed to do it when both teams had attacking struggles? Do you think there's anything to the idea that, oh, hey, we got out with a fast one. At least we didn't have to worry about overtime on map 3 or something like that?
I think they definitely had the game plan. I don't know if I would say lucky. Maybe getting defense on that last 3rd map would be lucky just because they didn't have to show too many of their attacks. But when they did get into that attack, every single attack that they were doing seemed like they had a plan. Obviously, the Capital fire to stop the defuse wasn't there, but the blitz getting the plant down on top floor was amazing. The Monty pushing into meeting for that last round that came down to such a close 1v1. It was there. They had a game plan for each one of their attacks that didn't look like they had for their Clubhouse.
I think the major champions should be expecting to do better than they did.
Sure.
But again, I said it was a very difficult match for them stylistically. So I think, again, the result is much more important than the performance. And I think they'll be, better suited to playing against a European team with BDS or G2 to come tomorrow.
I was going to say, speaking of said European teams, the overall structure that we're looking at for this path now for W7M is through a European squad, like it or not. Our next game will decide W7M's opponent in a semifinal tomorrow. It will be either BDS or G2 facing the current major champions to decide whether we get a European team all the way to the grand final or if W7M are going to do it for the second consecutive major. Gents, we'll save the predictions, obviously, once we know who their opponent is. But W7M, in spite of it being a 3-mapper, it still looked pretty damn good, right?
Oh, absolutely. I'd definitely be scared if I was a European fan right now.
Oh, I saw that point.
Whichever European team wins this next game is going to win the major. It's all irrelevant, Fox. We all know that.
Oh,
that's
geez.
a bold prediction.
All right. Hey, we'll get to the spice very shortly because G2 and BDS is coming up right after the break. Don't go anywhere.